Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff, Cade Wazzy, and Paul O'Neill on the audio and video boards. And if you're listening to us up in Shreveport on 1130 The Tiger, we appreciate that. If you are watching on CST or YouTube, welcome in to a Tuesday afternoon show. Glad that you're with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, looking sharp today.
You know, sometimes you get a twofer. You get two things accomplished at one time. So we met the great people over at Haspel last week, and we've been telling you about them. And you're going to get great deals here over the next few weeks with the Christmas sale that they've got going on over on Perkins. And when you go in to meet them, and then you see a great looking jacket like this, you say, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna make a great deal on a jacket. I'm gonna get a fine piece of clothes. I'm going to help out our new friends, and I'm not going to freeze to death in here." So, I mean,
it's a win-win.
It was a win-win-win all the way around. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Way to start a Tuesday.
It's a very good start.
Business-like.
I was pleased with the way the whole day started. I was actually pleased once the Los Angeles Rams won last night. Here's another twofer for you. It kept me from going over on my picks last week, and it gave the Saints another game up in the NFC South with the Bucs loss last night. So essentially, in my opinion, New Orleans clinched the NFC South last night.
Are you surprised by how many people, when they're putting their power rankings together, they start with the Chiefs and Steelers, and then it's kind of a conversation of, are the Saints the third best team? Because for me, they're not only in that conversation of being one of the three best teams, I would stack them right now with the way they're playing. And I know who they're missing at the quarterback position, but we talked about it yesterday. With the way this defense is playing, with getting after the quarterback and stopping the run in today's offenses in the NFL, you just don't see it at the clip that they're doing it. Man, you can make an argument for the Saints right now. For as many games as they've won in a row, they are in that top tier. Now, Kansas City and Pittsburgh are in that tier with them, obviously, but they're in that top tier.
I would give you two reasons why. One of them you just pointed out, which is the Drew Brees' status is at least uncertain at this point. The second thing I would give you is that New Orleans in the last 3 years has been right there at the top of the conference record-wise, but have fallen short of the Super Bowl. And there is, I'm sure, a recency bias in that. People are expecting the Saints to fall apart in the playoffs or to lose in the playoffs. They don't expect that New Orleans in an NFC championship game and a divisional game will get home. The third thing I would tell you is that the Saints got off to a slow start and got off everybody's radar real quick, and they've been, clawing their way back into it ever since. Those are my reasons, but I think that the Saints are in the catbird seat, obviously. They put themselves 2 games up in the loss column on Tampa. And Tampa's still got to play the Chiefs. Now, in fact, they play the Chiefs this week. Now, the Saints still have to play the Chiefs, but they're 2 up in the loss column. They own the tiebreaker. And for the Bucs to win the division now, they would either have to run the table and the Saints would have to lose 3, or they'd have to lose 1 and the Saints to the Chiefs, and the Saints would have to lose 4. So in my opinion, Saints clinched the NFC South last night. Maybe not mathematically, but for all intents and purposes, they did.
You have to really love where the Saints schedule is right now. I realize they have 3 road games in a row, but they're against teams that are very beatable. Obviously, with the Broncos, Falcons, and Eagles, it sets up really nicely for that matchup. A lot of people assume Drew will be back for that Chiefs game. Even if he's not, even if he can't come back, that's still a game that everybody is going to tune in. Right now, that game is scheduled for a 3:25 kickoff. I'll bet you $1 to a donut that doesn't end up being a 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, sure. No argument from me there. I do still think that the Saints' number one problem in the NFC as far as the number 1 seed is the Green Bay Packers. Of course, Green Bay owns the tiebreaker on them. That's the biggest thing. The Saints are a game up. The Saints' schedule is favorable. They'll be favored in 5 of the 6. The Packers may very well be favored in all 6 of their remaining games. They finish up with the Bears twice, the Eagles, the Lions, the Panthers. They'll be favored in all those games, even though they're at Detroit and at Chicago for one of those games. The best team they play is the Titans 2 days after Christmas. They get that game at home, so they're going to be a favorite there as well. I don't know that Green Bay has been playing consistent enough to run the table, but it's not like they've got Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens left when the Ravens are, sinking right now. So you go to I still think the Packers are the team. The Rams and the Seahawks have the exact same record. New Orleans doesn't have a head-up game with either one of them, so you'd go to a conference tiebreaker, which they would be tied with the Rams right now. But the schedule's a lot tougher for these two teams. First of all, they play each other, so that's one loss for one of them. The Rams play the Cardinals twice.
Yep.
And the Cardinals are tricky. They're a tough they're a tough act. I don't think that the Rams beat them twice. I don't think that they lose to them twice either. I think they'll probably split those games. The Seahawks, the rest of the way, have also got a pretty easy schedule. Games that look like at the beginning of the season they might be tricky, like at Philadelphia and at San Francisco. The Seahawks will still be favored here, but they do have that game with the Rams, and I don't expect that Seattle's going to run the table either. I think that 5-1 and 13-3 will get you the 1 seed in the NFC. 12-4 might, but I wouldn't want to take that opportunity. So all the Saints have to do, and it's the NFL, so I don't want to say. I mean, you bring up a good point. They got 3 road games in a row here, but all the Saints have to do is win the games that they're favored in. I suspect that they'll be a small underdog to Kansas City on the Christmas week in the Dome, but not much. I would suggest to you that that'll be a field goal or less. The rest of the games, they will be favored.
I'm really doing a deep dive into the schedule. There might be someone listening rolling their eyes right now, but Taysom Hill in a game at Denver, we don't know what the weather's going to look like there. I've played in Denver. I know how quickly that weather can change and how cold it can be there. At Philadelphia, another potential cold weather game. At Carolina at the end of the season. Right, so if it is snowing, if the weather is a problem, well, Taysom Hill's actually set up better for that because what he can do running the football himself, and obviously he has had issues holding on to the football, but even if there's weather, I think right now with Taysom and the way the offense and the game plan, that won't affect them as much as in years past it would have.
Taysom in the snow is fine with me.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I don't need Drew Brees and his 11 broken ribs trying to go out there in weather like that, so I'm completely
11. Just 11. One time my wife had to go into the hospital, and she thought it was kidney stones, and it turned into something. It was pneumonia by the time, and every time the doctor came into the room, it was something worse. Literally, like the 4th time he came in, I told him, I said, stop coming in this room because every time you come in, it's bad news.
Did he come in? Did he say this just in? Every time he came in,
he might as well have,
and now this,
and now this.
You just brace yourself.
So it's like same thing with Drew. It's like every time we hear a report, there's more broken ribs.
Yeah.
Hanny, I've had 2 at one time, and that was almost unbearable. And
X-ray all 24. Find out exactly how many are broken.
Yeah, because
right?
every time you throw out an X-ray, it seems like it's just more and more bad news. I think it was Sage Rosenfeld who said this. I fractured 1 rib in 2007 against the Oakland Raiders. Thanks, Warren Sapp. I took a needle to numb it at halftime and played the second half. That rib still bothers me to this day. Sometimes I wake up at night because of it. 11 ribs, unreal. So that is 13 years ago that he broke a rib and still has trouble. 11.
I'm with you. By the way, the temperature for kickoff in Denver on Sunday, the forecast is scheduled to be about 44 degrees, but as near as I can tell for right now, no snow. The game in Philadelphia actually might be a bigger deal. That game's on December the 13th. Philadelphia has been known to have some pretty nasty weather as well. So, again, the Saints are in great shape. Last night's game, I think, went a long way because if the Buccaneers were trailing you right there, you just – even though you had the tiebreaker on them, you still kind of, they're lurking. But now that you look at Tampa's overall record, you see that a lot of their success has come against teams that aren't very good. And on primetime, they've been pretty bad.
Yeah.
They lost to the Bears, they lost to the Saints, they lost to the Rams, and they very easily could have lost to the Giants. They were a 2-point conversion away from probably going to overtime there. Last night's game, Tom Brady is not the Tom Brady of 5 years ago.
He's bad when he's uncomfortable.
And when he got the ball last night, when Tampa got the ball last night, you just figure, all right, they're going to go down. They're going to at least get a field goal here. You kind of felt like in the back of your head, everybody's expecting him to do exactly what Patrick Mahomes did the night before. You're going to take him down. You're going to score a touchdown. You're going to win the game. At the very least, you're going to kick a field goal, and you're going to get this thing into overtime. And he threw an interception because he's not – it's not that he's a bad quarterback. His numbers are still pretty good, although he's piled up some numbers against some of the weaker teams on the schedule, but it's still the NFL. It's just that he's not really Tom Brady anymore.
No, and when they can't run the ball, which they couldn't last night, and when you make him uncomfortable, when you get him off his spot, he's not the same guy. He's 43 years old. I understand that. He doesn't want to get hit.
He's not supposed to be the same guy anymore.
But when you make him uncomfortable, Michael Brockers was getting after him early. Obviously, Aaron Donald's going to be an issue all game long. He had the jitters, and he's had it all year. Both times they've played the Saints, he's had it. When you get around his legs, when you get around his arm when he's trying to throw the football, it's not the same follow through. He can't take the same hits that he once was able to take. And when you become one dimensional like that, they figured it out. They really were fortunate to be in that game, in that position.
I don't disagree. And the specter of one day for one game in the playoffs, he could once again be Tom Brady, is always going to be there because he's had a couple of big games this year. One against the Raiders, one against the Chargers, where he threw for over 350 yards.
Okay.
Well,
Chargers.
But they're NFL teams still, okay? So there's this idea that one day in the playoffs, that's why I'm not over the moon about seeing them again. You've already beat them twice, and God forbid that's the day he figures out he's still Tom Brady, at least for 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon. But for the moment, I'm happy to have Tampa in the rearview mirror. And I think, again, the Saints all but locked up the South, and they've got a game up on everybody in the NFC. So good on them. We got some stuff from Coach O. When we come back, Hunt Palm will be with us. We'll do first class, second class, no class. There's a decision nationally that has me a little bit aggravated. You've got like 9 no classes to go through, so I'll
try to pick the best one.
No, man, I'm going to give you the floor. I mean, didn't you do that 2 weeks ago? You just ruled out first and second. Just okay. Hey, look, it's your. But
I'm trying not to be negative because I call you out for being negative all the time. I'm trying not to be negative. We'll see if I can just narrow it down. So,
man, I'm Captain Sunshine.
Yeah. Okay. Good. About? I'm excited about today's show. You mentioned what we've got coming up. We have Connor O'Gara Saturday down south at 12:30. We've got Ben Baby who covers the Bengals from ESPN at 1 o'clock. Of course, to talk Joe Burrow. That news is not great out of Cincinnati with his knee. Even more came out since we talked about it yesterday. And of course, it's Tuesday, so Chris Doering of the SEC Network set to join us as well. I talk a lot of football today.
A lot of football today. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you in part by the Tiger Athletic Foundation. LSU fans spell go differently. That's because it means something different. Go means being all in, no matter the challenge. It means roaring louder, standing together, and fighting like tigers. Today, we face unforeseen adversity. The loss of essential revenue for LSU athletics will be in the tens of millions of dollars, but our go, it never stops. Your support is critical. We'll tell you about that victory fund that we tell you about every single day because LSU and the Tiger Athletic Foundation is urging everyone to donate to that victory fund to help keep LSU student athletes going. The victory fund will provide financial support for the most critical areas of need, including scholarships, healthcare, and academic support for student athletes. We tell you every single day your support is critical to the future of LSU athletics. If you want to learn more information or if you want to donate, you can find all of that information and more on the website. That's victory.lsutaf.org. Again, go to the website to donate, victory.lsutaf.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat. On a very thankful Wednesday, OTB Executive Chef Michael Johnson gets you ready for Thanksgiving. Clown Booger for saying the Bucs are better than the Saints. And break down LSU A&M. Off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're also brought to you in part today by Supreme Rice, supremerice.com. Thanksgiving, couple days away. I'm sure there's going to be some rice on your table somewhere. Maybe you're making a little rice dressing, a little rice and gravy. Hey, listen, there's all kinds of different ways you can spruce up your Thanksgiving dinner with Supreme Rice. Hey, support our Louisiana farmers down in Southwest Louisiana. In Crowley since the 1930s, all Supreme Rice grown, milled, and processed right there in Louisiana. You can make it for your etouffees, for your jambalayas. You know, if it's a long weekend, so you get Thanksgiving. You get Thanksgiving leftovers. Whether it's the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine rice comes in the 5-pound bags. You can spruce up your meal with Supreme Rice and stretch your food dollar at the same time. Very easy to get Supreme Rice at all of your Walmarts, all of your Costco's, all of your AG food dealers. So this Thanksgiving, make it Supreme Rice. And for more information, great recipes, go to supremerice.com. Coach O on OTB this morning in his usual spot was opining on a number of things, but one of the things that has happened here, Jake, is that with the opt-outs, with the injuries, with some COVID stuff, that a lot of young players have gotten a chance to play this year. And in some of these cases, a lot of these cases maybe, that wouldn't have been the case if this had been a normal year. So if you're looking for a silver lining to some of the struggles. It's some of the young players that are getting some time.
Well, just like 3 years ago, we were building that championship team. Those guys became champions because they hung in there together. A lot of three-star players that developed, got better, continuity together. The quarterback was stable. It was Joe's second year. Just like this, we're going to have to build some continuity with our quarterback play. We got two good young quarterbacks. Miles is coming back. And we got some great receivers. Like you said, T-Bob, we got to get the offensive line straightened up. I like the running of Ty Davis.
Yeah.
And I love the play of Eric Gilbert. The more we get him the ball, the better he's going to be.
Gilbert was going to play anyway. The running backs were going to play anyway. They were the starters. But, Jacob, when you think about the receivers that have gotten extra time because Jamar Chase is not here, okay, whether it's Keyshawn Boutte or Jeray Jenkins, I think he's had a much bigger year than any of us thought, or even a little bit of time for a guy like Coy Moore. There have been receiver reps that have been open. You're starting two defensive tackles when they started spring were going to be Tyler Shelvin and Apu Ika. They're both gone. So whether it be a Joe Evans or Jaquilin Roy, who I know hadn't played a whole lot here lately, anybody that's playing on an interior defensive line really wasn't going to play as much. Now, I know there is some upperclassmen there with Logan and Farrell, but you still got some reps there that are open. If Kerry Vincent was in this secondary, would we have seen as much of Cordell Flott or Eli? Well, Eli Ricks, I think, was probably going to be that starter anyway on the other side eventually. But would we have seen, several of those guys back there getting some more time? Would we have seen T.J. Finley at all? I mean, the blueprint was for Miles Brennan to be the starting quarterback and to take every significant rep outside of games that got out of it. All of those guys have played a lot more than they were ever scheduled to.
When you really start to think about who's coming back for this team and taking their lumps this year, there's no denying that. Mm-hmm. But offensive skill players, I mean, you basically have everybody coming back. Now you're losing Terrace Marshall. You're losing Racy McMath.
Terrace Marshall's a big deal, though.
Yeah, no, without question, it is. And Racy we thought would have a bigger impact than he has. But to your point, Jenkins and Boutte and Coy Moore and even, you get the Gilbert into there as far as what he can do as a receiver. I mean, you're getting a lot of reps from guys that normally in normal situation, if Jamar and Terrace were the guys that wouldn't have that ability. And so sometimes when you're having that transition year, when you're kind of taking your lumps, and LSU hadn't taken their lumps like this in 20 years, so it's hard for a lot of people to hear, including it's hard for me to say it, but these type of years do pay benefits down the road. Again, this isn't a program that wants to rebuild or wants to reset or anything like that, but if there is a silver lining, you can see these players getting better.
Would they have been in a rebuilding mode if this was a normal year? I mean, when they left the Superdome in January, nobody knew what the heck coronavirus was.
Right.
If Jamar Chase would have been on this team, if Tyler Shelvin would have been on this team, if Kerry Vincent would have been on this team, if Dare Rosenthal wouldn't have got suspended from this team, if Miles Brennan wouldn't have gotten hurt off of this team, if Farrell doesn't leave for 5 weeks or whatever and come back horribly out of shape, all those things. And yes, everybody else had to deal with them too. They didn't. It's like, well, is your plan to be a 1 year, contender and the next year rebuilding? No, not to this extent. It's just the way it felt.
Nobody's lost as much as LSU lost last year.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call it like it is. But what was your expectations for this team coming into this season?
Before COVID?
Before COVID. The day they left New Orleans after the championship game, in my mind, I was thinking either 10-2 or 9-3.
That's exactly where I was. I thought that there were 8 games that they would be significant favorites in. Never occurred to me that they would lose to Mississippi State. Missouri wasn't even on the schedule when we left the Superdome. I thought that they would win 8 games without really that much of a problem, and that there were 4 games on the schedule that you were going to be an underdog to Alabama, and then you had 3 games that were going to kind of be a toss-up. Now, you're asking me my January opinion.
That's what I'm saying. So how much of that has changed?
Auburn, Florida, and Texas were all going to be toss-up games. I thought that LSU would be significantly better than Texas A&M. That ain't the case. All of that changed. But the plan wasn't to go into this big of a teardown and rebuild. It's just the way it went. Speaking of Finley,
Hey, he did very well. Think about this. We had 23 third downs. I've never been in a game where we had 23 third downs. That's ball control. That's manageable downs because we could run the football. Finally, on first and second down, a short, easy throw. I think that TJ, made some mistakes. He threw some balls in the dirt. It got wet on him a little bit. But the thing I was most impressed with is that he hung in there. And let's face it, that last touchdown he threw, nobody was open. He just stayed there. He was patient. And then Jeray Jenkins, just like you do in the backyard, on a scramble drill, he was to the right. He ran to the left, got open, touchdown. So we've got to give them some credit. One thing about TJ, he's got leadership and he's got ice in his veins.
8 out of 11 on third down. That was that was my favorite stat out of Saturday. Even more than 0 for 10 on third down for Arkansas. Even more than 11 out of 23 overall. It was that TJ Finley on third down went 8 out of 11 and converted 6 first downs in those 11 first downs and completed 8 balls for 77 yards and didn't turn the ball over.
Have I mentioned the last couple of days I liked what he did in the pocket, even though the broadcasting team said he was doing it wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, to Stinch's credit, he's an offensive lineman, and those guys don't like you to get out of the pocket because you get off your spot. But Coach O just said it, right? He stood in the pocket long enough for there to be a play to develop, but it wasn't there. So what do? You create it on your own, and you don't see freshmen kind of do that. Right? I saw him go through his progression, and then that's when he took off. And the offensive line did a nice job of giving him that opportunity, giving him that time. And I thought he only did it when he had to do it, and they made plays at the end. So I thought he played a great game.
And he didn't force throws.
He didn't force throws. Considering the weather and just all the things that could have played a factor in that game, he didn't allow it to become a factor.
The memory of the Auburn game where he turned the ball over 3 times, put it behind him. Finally, Coach O knows what they're walking into on Saturday in College Station.
Now, I don't know how much it is. I asked Derek this morning how many it's going to be. We don't know, but I'm preparing for as many people. When I heard Dan Mullen after Florida, he thought that their crowd affected the football game. We got to be prepared for crowd noise. We got to be prepared for our snap count, whatever it takes. We can't let that deter us.
Just my own little informal poll. Watching games, A&M appears to have put more people in the stands than anybody else that I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an illusion on TV. I don't know if I'm hearing things. I'm not in the stadium, so I can't look the whole thing. But on TV, every game I watch games in every conference, that appears to be the most people that I have seen. Now, the Notre Dame-Clemson game, it did at the end appear that maybe they gathered a few people that might not have been in there for kickoff to go out and storm the field. But game in, game out, however they've done it, it does appear that they've
done it. They just let more people in than you're supposed to be able, or what they've said.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it. They've created an advantage. Dan Mullen said it, and you could hear it on the broadcast. And LSU lives in Texas A&M's head. Right? Their fans. No, you can't deny it.
No, they do.
I'm not denying it at all. I said it on the SEC show earlier, and I know I'm not supposed to, but I did. When you make cups that are 74-72, a 7 overtime victory that didn't get you to a championship or get you to anything, it was a win and a controversial one at that. You make cups and you're selling those, and then your key code to get into your facility is the score from last year's game.
Is it just because Texas vacated that spot and there was room to rent? Because LSU's living there rent-free.
Texas still got some real estate there as well.
Yeah, but they don't play them anymore.
Yeah, they don't, exactly. And, to LSU, they care about the game, but it's not their biggest rival. And I don't think it's even close to the top of the charts. Now, some fans have gotten mad because of some back and forth, but no, this is a game that these fans and these coaches and administration, they've tried to make a big deal. And the SEC did. And it didn't become a big deal until the 7 overtimes with all the calls that were questionable, right? And so
because they hadn't won a game before.
Exactly. And so they've only won 1, but this is a game that they're going to be up for. That's kind of where we started with this. They're going to be fans. Their student section is right behind the LSU bench. They're going to have to deal with crowd noise for the first time all year long.
They're 2 touchdown favorites.
But it can also, it can energize you. Not everybody's built the same way. I love going on the road. I loved going into an opposing stadium. I loved having oranges thrown at me at Florida. That did nothing but piss me off, right? And I know a lot of guys that are kind of built like that. So it can go both ways. It's not going to be enough crowd noise to totally affect the game. It's going to be some. You're going to have to deal with it a little bit, but it's not 100,000 people, right? You're talking about 30,000 people. Okay, so use it to your advantage. Get a jolt from it, because would you rather be Florida and go on the road to Vanderbilt with not a swinging soul in there, or would you rather go on the road and have at least some juice to the stadium?
I would say the second thing.
Yeah.
Vandy's a favorite this week.
They're not playing.
Oh, they are. They changed the schedule. Arkansas had to bail. Vanderbilt Vanderbilt is favored over Missouri.
Missouri, yeah.
That
game they got canceled
by
earlier.
1 point, but that qualifies as stinky line of the week.
And by the way, Tennessee not playing this week.
See, that yesterday we got a lot of questions about why don't they just go ahead and put this LSU schedule, because they
came out late last night.
They got to get through this weekend. They got to get through this weekend before they can say that with any certainty.
Was it bad that you said Vanderbilt's a favorite? And I started thinking, well, surely they don't have a game if they're favored.
It sounded like a joke, right? It's like a bad knock-knock joke. No, really, they are. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Thanksgiving week is probably the last week you want to think about cutting grass, okay? I understand the temperatures are getting cooler, and lawn maintenance is probably not at the forefront of your thoughts, but it should be. Because if you're going to prepare yourself properly for the spring, you need to go to Gotros Outdoor Power, where our friends at SCAG are making it easier than ever to get you into a zero-turn unit with 60 months interest-free financing, free delivery, and just like with cars, Jacob, you get the old models out and the new models are coming in, so there are deals to be made at Gotros.
You're exactly right. There's 2 locations locally, Airline at Industriaplex in Baton Rouge, Airline at 74 in Gonzales. Go check out the showrooms. Go check out the SCAG Power equipment. They're going to have something that meets your needs and exceeds those needs. Also, you can check them out online at GotrosOutdoorPower.com. Remember, if you're listening to us in North Louisiana or watching us across the state on CST, free delivery to your doorstep from Gotros Outdoor Power. That's Gotros. We make it easy.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU, Arkansas, Saints, Falcons. We'll hear from Ed Orgeron. How did Taysom Hill do? We're talking about it Monday at 3. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Joining us now, Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Connor, good afternoon. How are you?
Gentlemen, I'm doing well. Doing a little, like pre-Thanksgiving. Don't want to eat too much at this point yet. Got to be prepared for Thursday. It's not a fast, but it's like it's a little prep that we like to do.
Stretchy pants, man. Stretchy pants.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, hey, Connor. So we're starting to see some of the SEC shuffle in scheduling. Tennessee is supposed to play Vanderbilt. That game kind of gets scratched. You got Vanderbilt playing Mizzou now on Saturday instead. It seems like this is just the beginning of what's going to be kind of a crazy finish to get all these games in, at least the games that really matter to the SEC in their championship aspirations.
It's weird because you're seeing Vandy, Mizzou prioritized, and you're seeing Tennessee not be able to get that game played, which sounds weird, but at the same time, I think it's about trying to make sure that the most possible games are played at this point, and that's definitely what's going to take precedent when it's not involving one of these teams that are playing for an SEC championship. I think that's the key. They don't necessarily want to move this final date back. We've heard Greg Sankey talk about the finish line, wanting to get to an actual finish line, how difficult that can be to move it back. So they're doing the best right now, and I applaud the league for at least looking around and saying, hey, we can make that December 19th date potential makeup date as well. And sure enough, it's going to be used, and I think it's going to be used by several teams. We'll see that. As weird as that'll be to have SEC games played on the same day as the SEC championship, it was kind of inevitable. So it's going to be one of those things that down the stretch we don't know quite what it looks like, but embrace the weird and just kind of roll with the punches is the mantra this year.
Connor O'Gara is our guest from Saturday Down South. The first playoff rankings are coming out tonight. Earlier in the week, BYU was offered a game with Washington, said, no, we really want to see what the playoff rankings are going to look like tonight. I thought it was kind of a ridiculous statement because whatever the rankings say tonight, BYU is still going to need some help regardless of where they are. But what are you expecting tonight with those first playoff rankings?
Yeah, I think BYU is actually going to be really disappointed in its first ranking based on how we've seen the playoff selection committee handle teams that don't have these Power 5 wins. And yeah, they beat Boise State. They beat them like a drum. Cool, that's great. But beating Power 5 teams has still been given all sorts of value by the selection committee in the past. And I don't think you're going to see BYU all of a sudden sitting there at number 4, number 5 in the playoff ranking. And even if they were, they still need help. Like they're going to watch these Power 5 teams that are going to get to face other elite teams in conference championships, and I don't know what they're necessarily waiting on. To me, that whole deal looked like a really bad look for BYU because even if it was, oh yeah, we don't want to get this, we don't want to be left out in the lurch and have this game suddenly canceled or something. At the same time, you've got to be willing to understand that you have a prime opportunity. What you've done so far is not going to be enough. I can't imagine any scenario in which BYU is in the top 3 or something tonight, and they're like, yeah, no, we're good on our ranking. They will need more help any way you look at it.
It seems like they've kind of made their bed now, because listening to people around college football, it almost looks like, no, not almost, it does. It looks like that you were scared and you kind of ran from an opportunity to add to your resume, because surely, like you just mentioned, they didn't think that their resume was going to get them in the top 4.
Exactly. This is like the anti-Coach Joe anywhere, anytime thing. And I know they got dragged on social media for that. But, you know, you can't help but look at that and say, all right, then what's the deal? Would you accept if it was Oregon State and not Washington? Like, is it just because it's Washington? To me, it comes off super, super weak. And I don't think that's necessarily going to factor into their rankings. But in terms of the public perception moving forward, it should absolutely impact BYU.
Connor O'Gara is our guest. There's a thought process, Connor, that Texas A&M probably needs the maximum amount of games played more than anybody in the league, because if Alabama wins out, they're going to the championship, they're going to the playoff, and the same thing for Florida. But Texas A&M could be sitting there at 9-1 and not have a seat at the SEC championship game or in the playoff. So there's a school of thought that says, hey, they beat Florida, but you kind of did a little deep dive on it. It's like, yeah, they beat Florida, but what else is really on that resume?
Exactly. That's the problem. That's why I think tonight we're going to see Florida ranked ahead of A&M. And if you look at Florida's resume, you know, that's a one-loss team who has beat every team it's faced outside of A&M by at least 14 points, including Georgia at a neutral site. And Florida's lone loss is on the road, last-second field goal against a legitimate top 10 team. I think that makes Florida a more attractive team in terms of their resume compared to A&M, who, by the way, let's not forget that they have the blowout loss to Alabama. We have seen the way that the selection committee has valued those blowout losses. You look at the past teams who have been able to make the playoff with a loss, there's only been one who has ever made the field with a loss of 3 scores. That was 2017 Georgia, and they got into the field because they won the SEC championship, and en route to doing that, they avenged the loss that they had against Auburn and did so in convincing fashion. So I think it's going to make it really difficult for A&M to continue to rack up quality wins. They obviously need an Auburn win to look good. They need a potential LSU win to all of a sudden look good. But, yeah, to me, this is going to take a variety of things in order for A&M to be able to have a legitimate chance come Selection Sunday.
All right, so we know it is rivalry week in the SEC, and there's a lot to choose from. We could go Iron Bowl, but that's not as fun. Let's go to the Egg Bowl. Let's go Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
There we go.
Now, we know Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin made a little bet before the season that whoever wins this game, the other has to pay for a private jet to take them back to either Boca or to the Keys there. So who wins that bet? Who is going to be paying for that private jet?
Give me Ole Miss. I mean, I have loved watching Ole Miss play football this year, for better or for worse, just because their games are entertaining every single week. But, you know, along with that is what this offense can do. And we saw the bad game from Matt Corral. I get it. He was terrible against Arkansas. But talk about a bounce back that kid has had. I mean, Lane is out here campaigning for Matt Corral to be in the Heisman conversation. He's like, I'd hope we'd be able to forgive one game, but he realizes that doesn't always happen. This offense is so fun to watch. And Elijah Moore, I'm not sure enough people are talking about him after what he did to respond from one of the most embarrassing viral moments ever with that celebration last year. I mean, a moment that impacted 5 FBS head coaching jobs. And I think that with Elijah Moore playing at this rate right now, I mean, I hate to bring this up. I'm not saying he's a better player, but compare some of the things that he has done in this offense to even Jamar Chase last year. It's different when you're playing for a national championship team. You play 7 top 10 teams. I get it. But what Elijah Moore has done against all SEC competition this year has been incredible. So I'm going to take Ole Miss to win that game and beat a Mississippi State team that defensively, you know, has looked okay at times, but I think they're still very vulnerable against the pass. I think Elijah Moore has a really, really big day en route to a very satisfying revenge game for him.
Connor O'Gara is our guest. Connor, what did you make of the Georgia-Mississippi State game on Saturday, from this stout Georgia defense giving up 24 to an offense that hadn't shown any life in, well, probably almost 2 months, to JT Daniels saying, you know what, I've been healthy and ready to go for a long time, and given Georgia's struggles at quarterback, he comes out and throws for over 400 yards. There was a lot of head scratching after that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally scratching my head as you were talking about that because I can go in so many different ways with this, right? Instead of talking about Georgia winning a game by 7 points at home that they were favored to win by 24, we're all talking about JT Daniels because the narrative afterwards is, well, why wasn't this happening earlier? And that remains a mystery to me because you hear Kirby talk about it, and he's been very adamant that he did not look right. He did not look fully healthy. We didn't trust him outside of the pocket. When there wasn't pressure on him, he was good. When there was pressure on him, he wasn't so good. JT Daniels came out and said, look, I've been cleared since the Arkansas game. This has been a coach's decision, and it's hard not to be frustrated if you're a Georgia fan. And Barrett Lee brought up the point about how it was going to be kind of a lose-lose scenario for Kirby because if JT Daniels came out and played like that, we'd be questioning what his judgment was as a head coach. And then if he didn't, then we're all of a sudden like, hey, who's it going to be moving forward? Carson Beck, Brock Vandagriff next year? So JT Daniels is in a very interesting spot now because if he finishes the year really, really well, and Georgia fans don't want to talk about this, he's draft eligible. Like, we saw Jamie Newman go to the NFL off of less film against quality defenses. I'm just saying, keep that in the back of your mind moving forward because it doesn't appear like JT Daniels and Kirby Smart are fully on the same page right now. And there might be some urgency to kind of capitalize on a finish like this and maybe see what's available at the next level.
Connor, do you think when JT Daniels was letting everyone know on the Zoom conference that he's been ready to go since Arkansas, that Kirby Smart has ran faster since his playing days to try to turn the Zoom off before that actually got out there?
I mean, he might have. We've seen Kirby jump on the sidelines and move pretty good. I bet he was hustling real quick. I mean, there's a divide there. And I saw the comments that JT Daniels' dad had as well where he's like, yeah, you know what? He didn't look fully right. I understand it's Kirby's decision to make, but there's disagreement there, right? We heard about disagreement from the jump about JT Daniels' personal doctor versus Georgia's doctors, and this whole situation has just been a mess. And unless JT Daniels comes back for Georgia in 2021 and is looking like the guy, and we're talking about him as one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, it's hard not to see this scenario ending awkwardly, right, with that relationship there. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what this is moving forward. But if JT Daniels comes out and performs well, I think Kirby Smart will be a little bit more willing to kind of let him say what he wants.
Connor O'Gara, thank you so much. Saturday Down South is the site. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and the football weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Louisiana One Call urges you, implores you, please call 811 before you do any digging on your property. Listen, the weather's nice. You might be ready to get out, working your yard a little bit, put some landscaping in, plant a tree, build a fence, another building on your property. Whatever it is, please call 811 first. It's simple to do. It's free of charge, and it's the law. And you avoid all of the problems that you get when you hit one of those underground lines that's buried very shallow beneath the surface. So please don't be that guy.
It is absolutely the law, Hanny. You can go to Louisiana811.com to submit a ticket there, so you can do that and call 811. You can also see the law, Louisiana Underground Utilities and Facilities Damage Prevention Law. So, yes, this is something you have to do. That's why they make it so easy for you to do. You call. It's a free service. They come out. They do the work. They mark the buried lines. You have to know what's below. Call 811 before you dig.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. We're live from Doe's Eat Place to break down all the latest action. Come see us on Government Street at 6 p.m. and enjoy some delicious steak, or tune in here to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Yeah, Jay kind of brings up a great point about Florida and A&M. And if it does come down tonight the way he's predicting, which is Florida at 5 and A&M at 6, you know what the argument's going to be. I'd make it myself if I hadn't heard his argument, which is both of these teams have one loss. They played each other. A&M won the game. Why aren't they ranked ahead of Florida? And that sounds good until you do a little bit deeper dive into it. You take out the Florida win, and the rest of the games that Texas A&M have won, their opponents are combined 7-23. And Florida has won every other one of their games by at least 2 touchdowns. I'm as big of a proponent of head-to-head as anybody, but you do have to look at all the games on the schedule and say, look, A&M lost a game by 4 touchdowns. The teams they've beaten haven't been, with the exception of Florida, haven't been very good. And Florida, with that exception, has been dominant everywhere else.
And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a team that lost to another team and they had the same records, but it looks completely different at the end. Get the advantage there. At the end of the day, it's pretty simple, though. If Florida beats Alabama, they're in. And if Alabama wins, then then you'll have that conversation. Did Texas A&M do enough? So Florida, they control their own destiny.
I'm having a hard Florida does for sure. Yeah. I'm having a hard time getting A&M into the playoff even with a 9-1 record. I mean,
I agree.
How do you get there? Because if Florida wins, then your one-loss competition includes Alabama. Well, they beat you. They thumped you. Okay. If Florida loses, then that knocks them out. You've still got to go up against a one-loss Notre Dame or Clemson, and Clemson's got a better win. Notre Dame's got a better win than you do. The Clemson win would trump the Florida win at that point. You're going to need at least one, if not more, major upsets for me to get A&M to number 4.
I think A&M ends up with more than one loss in the regular season, and this
They could.
doesn't become an issue. I truly do. They have games against teams that can beat them. And I'll throw LSU in there. I know LSU's a 2-touchdown underdog in this game, but I can see a path. At Auburn, that's not an easy game. Ole Miss, who can score on anyone, can A&M keep up with them? I don't know.
That would be the neat and tidy way to take care of this. But you know, a 9-1 A&M team that doesn't get into the playoff is going to scream bloody murder. I know your solution to that is let them scream, but that would be the.
It would help them also if Notre Dame can beat Clemson twice, which I don't think can happen. Because
No, that is the pathway. But if assuming that Trevor Lawrence plays in that game, Clemson's going to be a significant.
And don't
favorite.
forget about the Fighting Reese Davises.
They are still there. They are still undefeated. I think everybody's counting on, if they make it to the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State to take care of them.
So if they make it there, undefeated, and that's a close game, and you lose in your conference championship game to Ohio State, you're telling me A&M gets
close?
benefit over that?
Not if it's close. Not if it's close. Oh. No, not at all. Can't be 59-0.
No,
We've seen Ohio State win games like that before too. Hunt Palmer, Ben Baby, Chris Doering, all coming up in the next hour. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Our local nonprofits help build a thriving community for all, and now it's time for us to give back. So join us for 225 Gives on Giving Tuesday, December 1st, to build community and unite action. Learn more at 225gives.org. T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Hand Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and Hunt Palmer joins us here in hour number 2. How are you?
I'm very good.
Okay. Good to...
Just got 38 minutes of Hoops with Hunt podcast.
They're going to play basketball on Thursday.
They are.
Okay. We're going to get to that because LSU had to rearrange a schedule. You'll hear that more than once, I got a feeling, throughout this basketball season. But we want to start this hour off today with Ben Baby, who covers the Cincinnati Bengals for ESPN. Ben, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Joe. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. The number one question that everybody asked as soon as they saw the injury, and now with a couple of days to get more information, is in regards to Joe Burrow, how bad is it?
Right now it looks pretty bad. I think that's as much as we might hear otherwise. Got multiple ligament tears, which is never good. Myself and Adam Schefter both, confirmed or reported that the ACL and the MCL for Joe have been completely torn. There's other damage within the knee as well. And one of our insiders, Stefania Bell, who does a really great job with injuries and diagnosing kind of situations, pointed out that until you really get Joe under the knife and he goes under surgery, you're not going to know the full extent of how badly things are partially torn, such as the meniscus or the PCL, what are the cartilage damage there is in that knee. And so, the fact that right now the Bengals don't have an exact timetable of when he will be back, I think that is a little concerning because you don't know if he'll be back for the start of 21 or if, he's going to have to push. And right now I think anybody making any speculation just does not know, because until you really can get in there and the inflammation dies down and you're able to really go in there and scope things out, then you'll be able to get a sense of when Joe will be back on the field.
Now, Ben, do they have a surgery scheduled, or are they kind of waiting to just try to make sure that, the swelling does go down so they have the best case to go in there and fix it the first time and not have to go back in the knee? Because obviously he hurt it so late in the season. You want to get him back as soon as possible, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, I think here's the thing, is that this isn't a short-term deal with Joe Burrow. You're looking at a guy who has shown glimpses of being the franchise quarterback that the Bengals hoped for when they took him with the first overall pick this year. There's no point in rushing him back for 2021 or 2022 if you're going to risk an injury that's going to hurt him down the line. If this is a guy you think can be your quarterback for the next decade plus, 1 or 2 years, is a really short time frame. And it requires a lot of patience, requires a lot of prudence. And right now I think that would be wise for the Bengals to really wait and see what the best case is and kind of approach cautiously throughout the whole situation. Right now the Bengals do not have a surgery date set for Joe. Like you said, I think it's wise to wait for that swelling to go down and then see when he will go under surgery. And then from there, we'll figure out kind of what the prognosis is going to look like for his return. But, right now a lot of people are looking at it in the short term going, we'd love to have him back at the start of 21. And sure, I think that's good. But when you look at a player like Joe, I mean, he's got a potential for a very long career. And you want to keep that in the forefront of your mind if you're a fan or if you're the Bengals, because at the end of the day, this is a rare investment. You want to treat that properly and with care.
Have you heard a timetable of how long it would take? Because obviously when you start talking just a clean ACL tear, they've come back 8-9 months now. That rehab has changed over the last couple of years. And if you're dealing with other issues, you're talking about the PCL, the MCL, meniscus, other stuff. Have you talked to anybody maybe how long that would be if it was a worst case scenario?
Right now the range that we have are 9 to 12 months, but it's probably because there's multiple ligament damage. You're probably looking at the back end of that spectrum, closer to a 12-month range. And so that's just to get back into functional strength. You still have to talk about getting back into football shape and being ready to get on the field, and that's a different question entirely as well. So, like you said, straight ACL injuries or ACL tears, we've really made a lot of progress in the medical field over the last handful of years to where you can come back from that. You can still be the same player. And luckily for Joe, I think there's still going to be a lot of things he'll be able to do after this knee injury, and we've seen guys come back from this as well. That being said, I think that it's better to be cautious in the fact that, the Bengals cannot confirm yet that he'll be back for the start of 2021 indicates that there is a chance, this could take longer than 9 to 10 months, which is what would put him back on the field at the beginning of the season.
Ben, what's the reaction been from Zach Taylor, Cincinnati staff, and then the fan base to Joe's play through half of his first season?
I think everybody's been thrilled for the most part to see Joe do what he's done. I mean, he's taken his lumps, especially against quality defenses in the AFC North. But, that game against Washington was a prime example of why people are excited about Burrow. I mean, Washington's got a pretty stout defense when you look at that front, obviously, and then what they've got on the back end. And Joe was on pace to throw for 300 yards easily and really bounce back after a rough outing against Pittsburgh. And his growth throughout the year has been really impressive and made a big impact on everybody involved. And so there was a lot of promise, and we were about to get to find out what exactly the Bengals had in Burrow under Zach Taylor because they had a lot of winnable games on the schedule, and the possibility of winning 4 out of the last 7 was not beyond the realm of possibility. And that's a testament to how this offense looks under Joe and how well he was able to operate within it.
Ben Baby is our guest, Cincinnati Bengals reporter for ESPN. Ben, if he's not back until 2022, that gives the Bengals a lot of time in free agency and the draft to address that offensive line. Please tell me that that these discussions are ongoing to upgrade that piece of the Bengals.
You would hope so. That would be the case. And it's weird because Joe kind of indirectly got hurt because they were trying to look and see what the future of that line was going to look like. They tried a rookie right tackle out there who was playing the position for the first time, but he looked pretty good against Pittsburgh. And they were trying to figure out what kind of combination works. And unfortunately, doing that on the fly kind of hurt them a little bit. But, there's still some positions that need to be upgraded. Right tackle, I think, is one they're obviously probably going to look at. Left guard, second-year player Mike Jordan on that end. I think that he'll be someone they'll have to look at both guard positions, to be honest. So, right now, if you're the Bengals, you really have to take a hard look and go, are we doing the right thing across the board from a coaching staff perspective to a roster management perspective to protecting Joe in the best way possible? And I think that's what Zach Taylor is going to have to answer to over the next handful of weeks and really evaluate, his staff and also the roster. And if it's not what it needs to be to protect Joe Burrow, then I think you would have to make changes in the offseason.
Ben, they spent money in free agency this last offseason like we've never really seen them do. And when you're trying to build that offensive line, do you think they'll go through free agency? Because, they've had some misses. Billy Price kind of comes to mind, a guy that's a backup right now that you took in the first round. So do you think they go the free agent route instead of the draft, or both?
It depends on where they pick. Well, right now, I think if they pick number 3, I could see them getting that right tackle out of Oregon. That seems to be like a logical pick for them. They got Jonah Williams, who played at Bama, on the left side, and Trey Hopkins they really like at center. But the guard positions are really the big question marks right now. And the fact that they signed Quentin Spain in free agency shows that they might be more aggressive than they previously have been. But I think it boils down to this line is pretty much whatever Jim Turner really wants, and he's their assistant coach who's formerly with the Dolphins and with A&M. And if Turner can't produce, if you look at it and you say, okay, what Turner is seeing is not getting us the results that we need, then you've got to take a hard look at Jim Turner as well, which is someone Zach Taylor's been really defensive of and been very loyal to over the years, and they've got strong ties dating back to the days with the Dolphins at the very least. So there's a lot going on here, and I think this is really going to test Zach Taylor's ability to be an NFL head coach, and this will be a very fascinating finish to the season.
One more back on the injury, Ben, if I could back up here for a second. Is there any comparison to be made to the Carson Wentz injury? I'm asking because that was a double ligament tear as well. It kept Wentz out about a year. Is anybody making that comparison, or is it a completely different injury?
A lot of people are making that comparison. I think it's probably the closest one off the top of my head. I think Carson didn't have to deal with the ACL and MCL. I believe it was ACL, LCL to get really medical. So there is a little bit of a difference. I'm sure the doctors would know best. That if there's anything we've learned in 2020 is to trust the docs because they usually know what's going on here. And so Carson missed a couple weeks. Beginning when he came back and missed a couple of games. And I don't think the struggles he's having this year are really anything related to the injury. But I think that's definitely a fair comparison when you look at it, and that's kind of one that will probably be used the most when trying to gauge where Joe's at.
All right, Ben, before you started covering the Bengals for ESPN, I know that you covered Texas A&M. If I'm not mistaken, you covered the 7 overtime game, LSU A&M, right?
Yes, I was on the field for a good. I went out there around the first overtime. I'm like, this should wrap up soon. And I had to go back in around the third overtime to start writing, and then I came back out around the fifth. And there was a lot going on that night.
Yeah, I was on the sidelines for that one as well, which was a crazy historical game. So, real quick, they meet again this week. No way we go 7 overtimes, but it's turned into a nice little rivalry after that game.
Kind of, yeah, I think so. I think that game really sparked it, especially what happened after the game between the A&M staffers and the LSU staffers. I think that really took it to another level. But last year, A&M, Joe Burrow and the Tigers really gave it to A&M, and this year I think A&M might be in a position to return the favor. I'm quite surprised at how well the Aggies are playing. To be 100% honest with you, I thought this was going to be a big make or break year for Jimbo. Even when he got hired. Before that 2018 season. And, I've been impressed with Kellen Mond. I've known him since he was a sophomore in high school, like 3 jobs ago. I remember covering one of his first starts at San Antonio Reagan before he even had a ton of offers. And, I think this year he's kind of been a lot better than I anticipated as someone who's watched him for a handful of years. And, I think if for LSU, I think the key is to kind of rattle Mond early and try to get him off schedule and see if he can perform in a big game. And if they can, then I think LSU has a good chance of winning that. But if Mond plays as well as he has since that Florida game, this offense could be really difficult to stop, and especially with all the absences that LSU has, A&M could be in position to pick up a pretty big win at Kyle Field.
Ben, baby, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and football weekends, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, y'all do the same. Take care.
You realize that if he doesn't get back until 2022, that's 2 drafts and 2 free agency periods. If you just got one capable lineman out of all 4 of them, he might not get pulverized when he gets back.
Yeah, I understand that, but I also know Joe, and I know Joe's mentality. And there is no way in the world that he wants to sit out for a year. He's going to do everything he can, even if he comes back and we're sitting here in November and he's healthy to go, and a lot of teams say, no, let's just wait till next year. He's going to fight like hell to get in that lineup.
How much decision making do you give him? Of course he wants to play. We know the guy. He's going to want to play no matter what. But if you're the Bengals after 10 weeks next year and you're 2-8, and he doesn't, he's a little bit, nervous about getting back. It's the very beginning of the window that he has. It's the short version of the window. Mm-hmm. Do you let him? Hey, I want to play. I'm sorry. For your own good, we're going to sit you down. I mean, and then you run the risk of really angering him, and then you get at odds with your coach and or your general manager. But if I'm the GM, I'm sorry. If my franchise quarterback comes back and there's any chance at all, if I'm 8-2, well, if I'm 8-2, maybe I don't want to make a quarterback change. I don't know who they could have to get them to 8-2.
It ain't going to be the cat they rolled out there on Sunday.
Right, there you go. That's who they go get. Fitzmagic. That's the number one jack of all trades quarterback. When you need somebody to sub into, your guy gets back, you go get him.
So missing about 21 months of football isn't ideal for your progression either.
No, it's not. None of this is good. This is all degrees. This is degrees of bad. Whatever. Wish him the best. We'll take a break here. We're brought to you by Richard Sonda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you every single day by our title sponsor, Richards Honda. Of course, you can find them online at richardshonda.com. We've been telling you about the buy from home option, a 7-step process to get your vehicle delivered straight to your door. The first step, you select your vehicle. The second step, you unlock the lowest price and payments. The third step, you fill out just a little bit of information. That fourth step, they're going to send you a virtual garage key code. Once you get in that virtual garage, you can explore all of the options that you want to add to your vehicle. You can compare up to 4 vehicles to make sure that you get exactly what you want from Richards Honda. That 7th step, they're going to deliver that right to your door, as I mentioned earlier. Again, richardshonda.com. You can go through that 7-step process. Go see them, though. We always encourage you. I-12 and Millerville, over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles priced to move. Cars, trucks, hybrids, midsize, full-size SUVs, vans. They've got you covered from every single angle over at Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust.
On a very thankful Wednesday, OTB Executive Chef Michael Johnson gets you ready for Thanksgiving. Clown Booger for saying the Bucs are better than the Saints. And break down LSU A&M. Off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Make Christmas wishes come true this holiday season with 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge's $15,000 sweepstakes presented by Acura of Baton Rouge. Sign up now at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win $15,000 from 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of our posters in the Bayou Ford chat alerted me to something. This is the first day in 20 days we don't have a football game tonight.
Interesting.
Hey, remember when we're just games? One game. We got games. 20 straight days. Yeah. Whatever will I do with myself tonight? There's no games on.
Thanks to the Maction and the Fun Belt.
Yeah, I guess it's Thanksgiving week, so they're not doing midweek games this week. We'll have Thanksgiving games. Hopefully,
you're all dressed up. You can go to dinner.
Listen, I want to thank the folks over at Haspel for providing me with not only what is I think a pretty sharp looking blazer, but a way to keep warm in this in this igloo that we do the show in every day. So I got 2 for 1 here today. Haspel on Perkins Road, right there by Willow Grove. They've got terrific deals going on right now. Please, if you're shopping for Christmas, go by and see. Let me get you something, huh? Is your birthday?
I would
coming
like
up?
that. It is January.
January?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's coming up.
Leave your coat size, and we'll see what we get done on that. All right. So this is our first chance to talk to you since the Arkansas game. What did you make of LSU's 3-point win?
It was nice to win a game. That's my biggest takeaway from the game. Was it beautiful? No. Did they play hard and find a way to win a game? Yeah. The defense is still a bit of a mess. They got a couple early stops, but then the big plays were just brutal. And then offensively, we thought they had to run the football, and they made every effort to and ran it for enough yards, just 3 yards a carry to help Finley out, and he made some plays late. The officials were The announcing crew was, but they won, so it was a good Saturday.
If anybody ever transcribes the show, I don't know how you spell it.
Well, there's an emoji for that.
There is, yeah.
Jacob, how do you balance a defensive performance when, on one hand, you go 0 for 10 on third down? LSU 0 for 10 on third down, but gave up 6 plays of 29 yards or more and 4 plays of 50 yards or more.
And that's been the story, just the explosive plays. It's so frustrating if you're a defense, if you just hold them, and then all of a sudden here comes 1 for 50. And you hold them, and you hold them, and you hold them, and then here comes 1 for 65. You've got to get rid of that. Now, there's coverages that you can play that help that, but also there's techniques that have to be played. Like when the rub routes, like we kind of make a joke about it, but it's true. Like you have to play better technique. Where they're lined up, that's all they can do. That's the only thing that they can do that hurts you. And it wasn't even a good rub route, and it goes for 65 yards. Now, 2 missed tackles. That's troublesome as well. That's been a bugaboo for LSU's defense as well. But you have to play, brand of football where you see that, you know it, you call it out, and you defend it.
So A&M looks at this film. They see all of these big plays, and they did a very good job at stopping Arkansas's rushing attack. What does Jimbo Fisher look at this thing and make of it when he puts together a game plan?
So Texas A&M's leading receivers are 2 out of 3 are a running back and a tight end. I told you yesterday they're not explosive at receiver. Okay, so maybe we can't do some of the things, but honestly, it doesn't take a talented guy to be able to get free on a rub route. It just doesn't. That's a lot of the reason why you do it, because you don't feel like you can go out there one-on-one and win in coverage. Okay, so they're going to do that. They'd be dumb not to. What really should scare you is their leading receiver is a running back. A running back that can catch out of the backfield and Smith, a running back that can motion out and do what Arkansas did last week.
No, we haven't seen a wheel route in almost a week,
well,
right?
You're going to see plenty of them on Saturday, because they are going to do it until you prove that you can stop it. And Smith's got game-changing speed.
He's a freak.
He's going to be everywhere. They're going to find ways to get a mismatch on him. He'll be out of the backfield. He'll be in the slot. He'll be lined up out wide. They'll motion. They'll shift. All of those things with him to create a mismatch. You have to shut him down. He is the guy that can beat you. Isaiah Spiller's going to get his yards running the football. You can give up some yards on the ground and still win the football game. If you give up 65-yarders over the top because they beat you on a wheel or a rail or a motion post, that's hard to come back from. They were lucky they did it last week because they were good on third down. and they were able to just do enough to win the game. You do it this week, you're going to get beat.
To answer your question, what does Jimbo make of the film? He's going to look at it and say, we can do whatever we want. I've got an offensive line that's playing very well, the opposite of what was the case when they came in last year. I've got a quarterback who's in command of my offense right now, and I've got playmakers on the outside. I can do whatever I want because that defense is going to give up huge plays, and I can go up and down the field on them. That's what he'll think.
So you're Bo Pelini. You have watched this A&M offense now for 2 months. You put in all the pre-work. What adjustments are you going to make? You got a pretty good idea. We know what Jimbo does. All right, we're very familiar with Jimbo in these parts. Excellent coach. What do you do if you're Bo Pelini?
I'm trying to stop the run to start. I would focus heavily on the run.
The two of you, the reaction that the two of you just had is kind of, I think, what the fans are. Oh man, like there's nothing that you can quick fix or just it's not a matter of substituting a certain personnel or a certain package or cleaning up one thing. Your reaction right there, that's the LSU fans' reaction to the LSU defense this year.
It's just because, look, you've had time. You've been able to try to make adjustments, and you've gotten better, but you still are getting beat by the same thing. Explosive plays, pushing the ball down the field. So when you ask me, what do you do? Well, you stop it, but how do you get that done? Because, again, go back to the big plays in Arkansas, all right? A pick route where it wasn't that great. You should have covered it. Then you get beat one-on-one by a running back that motions out and runs a post. That's, again, a running back. You get beat over the top. So it's more of the same. So, what Hunt's saying is, hey, no, you stop the run, make Kellen Mond beat you. That might be something where they have to do.
So to sum up for Mr. Hester.
Transcribing that too?
Yep, pretty much. Chris Doering when we come back. Maybe Doering's got some answers for us. We'll get him when we come back. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air, an independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. Have you had your unit checked? It's about that time right now. If you're in their program, you're going to get twice yearly maintenance checks. It means that your American Standard is operating at its highest efficiency. And, of course, they service all makes and models, but the American Standard is going to save you money. I know. When I put it in my home, immediately started to see those energy savings every single month. Through the efficiency of the unit and the programmable thermostat, you're never going to waste energy. And everybody likes to save money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Hanny. Multiple ways with that protection plan. You mentioned the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan. Increased equipment life is important here because if you're part of this plan, you're going to get that, and you're also going to get it because you're doing the seasonal maintenance. You're doing the things to make sure your system is at its peak performance. Remember, discounts all over the place. You can find more information at tiger-air.com. Pick up the phone, call them at 225-754-8687.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
You know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com and then nominate your good citizen.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. We're live from Doe's Eat Place to break down all the latest action. Come see us on Government Street at 6 p.m. and enjoy some delicious steak, or tune in here to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Chris Doering joins us from the SEC Network. Chris, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon to you boys. Happy almost Thanksgiving, too.
Yes, to you as well. I need an honest broker on this because Hester hates all things Texas A&M. So I need an unbiased opinion here. The 5-1 Aggies, the top 10 Aggies, are the Aggies that were blown out by Alabama and have had 3 weeks since their last game. Where do you land on Texas A&M?
I'm actually pretty high on Texas A&M right now, and that's quite a shift from where I was just about a month and a half ago. I thought what they had been dealing with early in the season was something that had plagued them the last couple of seasons, inconsistency in performance as a team and inconsistency from their quarterback. And I wasn't necessarily buying the offseason hype about Kellen Mond and his improvement, but from what I've seen from him since that Alabama loss, and I watched it up close and personal against my Gators, the way that he's been upright for the majority of the season, very little pressure on him. The offensive line has played really, really well. You try to blitz him, and either the offensive line picks it up or the quarterback gets it out of his hands. Very tough to get pressure on Kellen Mond right now. And they're taking a lot of pressure off him, literally, with their ability to run the football. I mean, the duo of Spiller and Smith are one of the best in the conference. And don't look now, but their defense is number one in total defense after already playing maybe the best two offenses in the conference in Alabama and Florida early in the season. And so they've come a long way as well. So I actually am really high on them. I've listened to a lot of debate about people saying, where Texas A&M and Florida should be ranked in the initial college football playoff rankings tonight. I don't even think it's a question, and there's not a more loyal homer when it comes to Gatorism than I am, but Florida went to Texas A&M and lost head-to-head in College Station, and the only loss of the season for A&M is a blemish to the number one team in the country, the unanimous number one team in the country. So I don't have any question about them being ahead of Florida right now, and I actually think you can make a great argument that they should be ahead of Clemson in the first poll tonight.
All right, now, CD, if Florida goes to Atlanta, they take care of business, and they beat Alabama, and Texas A&M runs the table, and they only have one loss, you have to agree that Florida gets the nod there, right?
No question. My rankings right now are based upon where we are as of now, as of this week. I think a one-loss SEC champion that now on their resume would have a win over Alabama. No question in my mind. I don't care who it is. One-loss SEC champion is getting into the college football playoffs this year. I think if Florida beats Alabama, there's a good chance that that Florida and Alabama get into the college football playoffs. But certainly at the end of the season, we'll be able to have a much better picture of how it's all played out. But I do think this layoff that you guys mentioned a second ago is actually a beneficial thing for Texas A&M if they can keep that momentum going. Like if everything is still as it was when we last saw them, they'll have a chance to play on December 12th and on December 19th, whereas normally they'd be sitting at home if they're not playing in Championship Saturday. That'd be a great opportunity for them to put their best foot forward to the committee before they make the decisions on December 20th.
Chris Doering of the SEC Network joining us here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. Let's move to, I guess, sort of a rivalry week in the conference this week. Most of those games that are just after Thanksgiving are being played. I guess we'll start with the home team here in Baton Rouge, the LSU and Texas A&M. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I saw some improvement from LSU on both sides of the ball. I thought the defense played really, really well, particularly on third down, being able to get off the field on all 10 attempts that Arkansas had. I thought offensively it was nice to see them be able to run the ball as well as they did and control the clock over 40 minutes of possession. I thought TJ Finley looked really good against the defense that we've seen some quarterbacks not look that good. And I think the key to playing well against Arkansas's defense is just being patient. So I did see some progress from them. But I think where LSU is right now is nowhere near where Texas A&M was last time I saw them play. I think they're becoming one of the most complete teams in the country. And I think this is a great opportunity for them to continue to show to not only the College Football Playoff Committee, but the country that they are willing or they are worthy of being one of those top 4 teams.
Chris, why did Kirby Smart wait so long to play JT Daniels? Just ask it real blunt.
Yeah, I think if you go back and listen to what JT Daniels' parents said, they actually thanked Kirby Smart for not putting their son in a position to go out there when he wasn't completely healthy, when he wasn't going to have a chance to look as good as he could once he got his legs back under him and he was conditioned and he had a better feel for the offense. So if his parents are all right with it, then I'm okay with it. And it seems like for whatever reason, JT Daniels just wasn't ready to go. And how many times do we see coaches feel the pressure to put guys in maybe before they are ready, just to try to placate the media or the fans? So, I've always kind of wondered why we as media members, we as fans, think we know more than the coaches that are actually at practice every single day, that are watching the tape of practice and going over every single detail more than the actual coaches do. So it's just it was perfect timing in terms of his readiness to go. You saw the game plan from Mississippi State was to take away the run and try to pressure JT Daniels. And I thought every time they blitzed him, he was able to make a play down the field in the passing game and actually showed a little more agility and athleticism in the pocket than maybe what I was led to believe would be the case. He eluded a couple free rushers a couple times, including on the touchdown he threw to Kyrus Jackson. So I thought he looked really good. I know it opens up the question of what could have been for Georgia fans had they had him in there sooner. But at the end of the day, this was a much better situation than what it was potentially setting up to be. I was worried about you put JT Daniels in and he doesn't play well. Well, then where do you go from then? Dwan Mathis had obviously not been your guy. Stetson Bennett has some limitations. JT Daniels, if he had not have played as well, I think it would have been a rough rest of the season there in Athens. But to his credit, he came out and looked really, really well in that game plan.
Don't you know, CD, that's like the one thing that Kirby Smart didn't want to hear JT Daniels say. Hey, I've been ready to go since the Arkansas game. I've been clear to go. It was a coach's decision why I didn't play because we all know that it doesn't matter what his parents said. The Georgia fan base heard that, and they're going to be screaming about it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I go back to it again. There was something that was happening in practice that didn't give Kirby Smart the feeling that JT Daniels was capable of doing what he needed to do, whether it was health limitations, whether it was not understanding the playbook, whether it was just not having a good rapport with the receivers. It's been a weird offseason, as we all know, and there are some things even more so than ever working against transfer quarterbacks coming in and being ready to play in the season, even, ones that are 100% healthy. So I do think for whatever reason, it didn't work out early in the year. But I'd rather say better late than never than have had put him in there too soon and realize that he too wasn't one of the guys that you could count on going forward.
It all sounds good, but I know the pressure is going to be up there in Athens. Hey, real quick before we let you go, the scheduling in the SEC, we're starting to see some effects. Tennessee is not going to have a game this week. The Vanderbilt-Missouri game is going to get rescheduled for this week, and so we're starting to see some of that news come out. I don't envy anybody that's putting this schedule together, but there's going to be, as we're seeing, some teams left out, and other games can be put to the top there, but it feels like LSU is going to be in the thick of this thing, having games against Alabama and Florida still left on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I don't, like you said, I don't envy the schedule makers, the guys that are trying to flip-flop in the middle of the season. It was funny, man, just talking. We had Will Wade on the radio, on the TV show yesterday, and he mentioned them trying to pick up games, still having open dates that they're looking to fill. I mean, I don't know that I've ever experienced college athletics with as much feel of Little League sports than what we're feeling right now. And the fact that game can change the week of a scheduled game in SEC football is just amazing. But I for one, I don't know how you guys feel as LSU folks, but, even though they're in a disadvantageous position probably this season, I think it's important to play that LSU-Alabama game. So I do hope it gets played, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season shakes out for the rest of the entire conference. I mean, it's going to be fun to see a sprint to the finish with games even on the 19th on the day of the SEC championship.
Last one, Chris. When Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin were hired, everybody said, well, it's going to be a really fun Egg Bowl. So now we've got the Egg Bowl. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not on Thursday night. But Mississippi State found some offense last week against Georgia, and Ole Miss has been humming on offense. So what are you expecting in the Egg Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I think Will Rogers did a great job. I mean, he, again, like we talked about earlier with T.J. Finley, he was very patient against a defense that Georgia typically doesn't play. They play far more zone than what we're used to seeing from the Bulldogs, and I thought Will Rogers did a nice job of taking what they were giving, taking advantage of the opportunities when he did have man coverage, and being really efficient. Ton of completions, no interceptions. But again, I think they're still limited right now, and I think the explosive nature of that Ole Miss offense is one that's tough for anybody to match. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see what Mississippi State can do defensively against Ole Miss. I thought they had a nice plan against Georgia. Obviously, they couldn't match up in the secondary, but I did see a lot of penetration up front, and that defensive line is one of the better defensive lines in the conference. So that's kind of where I have my eye on. I think Ole Miss probably wins. But I think it's more competitive now than what I would have thought it would have been maybe a month ago if you'd asked me that question.
Chris, thanks for joining us today. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Enjoy the football weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Chris Doering. We are brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. It's not too late to make a deal before the end of the year. Long-term benefits, short-term benefits of lower interest rates. So whether you're in the market for a new home, maybe it's a first-time home that you're buying, you want to upsize, you want to downsize, maybe a construction loan if you like to stay where you are but you need a little bit more room, maybe a refinance for your current home could free up some cash in the short term and make your payments lower for the long term. Whatever your financial goals are, GMFS Mortgage can help you. You'll sit down with a local counselor, they'll ask you a few questions, you'll set some goals, and then they'll set out a plan to get you to those goals. And from that point all the way through the closing, they'll walk with you step by step. There won't be any surprises, and I think you're going to be really pleased, as I was, at how rapid that process goes. They talk about changing lives. They're talking about changing your financial outlook. So start your financial journey today, as thousands of others have done, at GMFSmortgage.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
and an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays? You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
On a very thankful Wednesday, OTB Executive Chef Michael Johnson gets you ready for Thanksgiving. Clown Booger for saying the Bucs are better than the Saints. And break down LSU A&M. Off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Let's hear without food again.
That's correct.
But you can get food.
You can get food. Hungry Howie's brings you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt every Tuesday and Thursday. Look, you're going to be cooking all day Wednesday and Thursday. You want to take that off your plate for the next couple of days? Hungry Howie's the place to go get you some pizza, some wings. Tell you about the great deals they've got going. How about some of these specialty pizzas? The 3-cheeser pepperoni pleaser. Pepperoni pizza smothered with cheddar, mozzarella, and Parmesan. Also like the barbecue chicken. Got a sweet barbecue sauce, grilled chicken, red onion, bacon, mozzarella. Make it part of your next couple of days. I realize what you're eating Thursday. Probably want to get some leftovers Thursday night, even Friday. But how many times you want to go back to the fridge and eat the same thing? Make Hungry Howie's part of your football and basketball watching weekend. Go to hungryhowies.com to order. Call the store in Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus at Lee. Or as I always tell you, download the Hungry Howie's app. Makes everything very, very easy for you. Hungry Howie's, bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt.
Hungry Howie's. I was solo there. Usually, the last couple of weeks, you've been okay.
Yeah, well,
cool.
I want to see how you sounded a cappella.
Oh, good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
A+.
Speaking of basketball, since you brought up watching basketball this weekend, the New Orleans Pelicans have been busy on the contract front here in the last 24 hours. They got an extension done with Steven Adams last night. We're going to talk more about that a little bit in first class, second class, no class. But they also have now gotten a max contract extension done with Brandon Ingram.
Oh, Woj bomb.
Yeah, this is 5 years, $158 million. Starts at 27, goes up to 36. I'm not sure about the option for the 5th year, and didn't get that part of the deal. But we knew this was coming. Brandon Ingram was the most improved player in the NBA last year, made the All-Star team. He's a young player that is just about to enter his prime, and he's an All-Star already. So this was a no-brainer. They're gonna have some tougher decisions down the road with contracts, but this one was easy to do, I thought.
Yeah, you got a young core. He's part of that young core. He is on the verge of being a star in the NBA. I think he has real talent that is really coming to the top now. When he was with the Lakers, trying to find his way a little bit, but now that he is one of the guys in the franchise, him and Zion going to be together for a long time. They had to get the deal done. Glad they did. You don't have to worry about that. Now you can continue to move forward and build your roster how you want it.
That's correct. I mean, yeah, there's not much to say. It's a no-brainer. The guy's, young 20s, and he's a star, and you got to get him locked up, and he's one of the 3 or 4 building pieces you use, and so, yeah, not incredibly breaking news there.
I think we lose track of the idea about how long it takes to indoctrinate themselves into the NBA. Rookies, I'm talking about. I think it's like one rookie in the last 10 years that has made an all-star team. You think about some of the great rookies that have come into the league. Some of the very best players. They're not all-stars right off the bat. The 19-year-olds that were all-stars, I mean, it's Kobe and LeBron, and I think that's the list for the last 20 years. I have to go back and check, but if it's any longer than that, it's not much longer than that. But once they get into that, just like the 2 first-round picks for last year, Nikhil and Hayes, neither one of those guys were ready to play heavy minutes, even though they're first-round picks. In the NFL, you get a first-round pick, you plug him in, he's a starter.
He's also 22.
Doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't work like that in the NBA. So this is exactly, I think where Brandon Ingram is supposed to be for a guy that was the number 2 pick in the draft. You just keep stockpiling talent. Ingram was the number 2 pick in the draft. Ball was the number 2 pick in the draft. Williamson was the number 1 pick in the draft. And you got some dudes over there. You just got guys, you got dudes.
Yeah, and look, you traded an asset. You got more picks. You got a player that's going to help you this year. You also parlayed one of the other players into something that you needed. So I love the front office moves that they're making. In years past, I mean, it has not been the case. And again, they were fighting an uphill battle. You had a football front office trying to juggle 2 jobs. I mean, you've had ownership of the NBA of this team at one point. I mean, it's really been all over the place, and now they're so stable in every decision that they make, you feel pretty good about it. Kind of going back to what, we said, when you've got a coach, when you have a front office that starts to make a lot of moves and you can start to trust them, then you can start to see the process of what they're trying to build.
I agree. I'm completely with you on this. All right, home. We got a couple minutes left with you. You're not going to be with us on Thursday. No show for Thanksgiving. So
that's weak.
Right. Going to Thanksgiving. He's going to play golf. He's not really going to see his family or anything like that. Your final thoughts on LSU and A&M? There it is again.
So Hunt.
I want it worse than I want oxygen.
Okay, so you say that I dislike A&M. It's not a dislike that I have. I got tired of hearing about what they were going to do and how they were coming, and I just reminded people that it's been 80 years since they won a national championship. I'll say that 80 years since they've won a national championship. So that was why I just have something of an opinion on them. Hunt, on the other hand,
I dislike them. I will gladly eat a couple of granola bars and forego the entirety of Thanksgiving dinner if we can beat them on Saturday. I will forego the whole thing. I want it that bad. I don't feel very good about it at all. I just think that the way that A&M's offense is playing, it's just hard for me to see LSU's defense putting up a great fight. And then you're asking a freshman quarterback to turn around and match them on the road, score for score. It just seems like an uphill battle to me. I don't feel great about it. But, look, it is Texas A&M. They've never finished anything off the way it's supposed to be finished off. So hopefully we can hit some big plays, get a turnover or 2, and win one late. I just with Brennan, I would give us a shot. With Finley, it just seems harder to me.
I don't think it's the offense.
Yeah, Finley's not my problem.
Well, because I know the defense is going to play well. I got to match them. I got to match them score for score.
You have to have the same game plan that you had last week. Control the clock. Try to run the football. It's going to be tougher this week because I think the biggest improvements for A&M aren't at the quarterback position. I think they're up front on both sides of the lines. That's where they've gotten more physical. That's where they've gotten more talented. It's going to be a challenge to do that, but you can't get panicked, which Steve doesn't, I don't think Steve will do. You have to say, no, we're going to come out here with a plan to run the football, have manageable third downs, because it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you pick up 6 yards on the first 2 downs and you're at 3rd and 4, that helps out a young quarterback so much, opposed to throwing it twice, incompletions, and it being 3rd and 10. So if you can do that, if you can have enough success to run it at 3, 4, 5 yards a clip, that's got to be your game plan to control the football. Like
they did that pretty well on Saturday. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they had 23 third downs, and I think 13 or 14 of them were 4 yards or less, and only like 3 or 4 were 9 or more. And they converted the 4 or less most of the time. Really at a good clip. So they tried, and they did that exceptionally well against South Carolina, where they never had 3rd and 9+, ever. But against Auburn, they couldn't run the ball at all, and you got into some bad third downs, and then they started pinning their ears back, and Finley got uncomfortable, and it just didn't work.
Are we sure that Brennan's that much better than Finley at this point?
I am.
Okay.
I mean, Finley planted his back foot, and the ball almost never came out on Saturday. He kind of freelanced. Brennan, what he did against Missouri, I was thrilled with.
You stick around for a while, I'll run you some numbers that show you that there's not quite as huge a discrepancy as you may think.
I actually agree with both of y'all. I'm going to be switching here because I know what you're saying, but also I know exactly what Hunt is saying. To be able to have that voice in the huddle, to be able to have that demeanor out there, it is a completely different game than when you have a young player out there. And almost when you have a young player, you're waiting for it to explode.
Miles' last game was 470 and 4 touchdowns.
How much older is it? They both played 3 games. They both started 3 games. I mean, how much more experience does Brennan have? I mean, he's
4 years.
That's
okay.
It's just like saying like that with Flynn. Like Flynn was an experienced quarterback, even though he didn't really have starts.
He's better. I get it. Okay, but I don't know that there's this huge gulf. I mean, we didn't see Brennan playing 7 weeks or something like that. It's a moot point. It's like a cow's opinion because Brennan can't play. No, it's because Brennan can't play anyway, so
I hope
we don't have to make that decision.
Yeah,
who cares? Hunt, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, guys.
First class, second class, no class when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting the Pelicans and forward Brandon Ingram agreed on a 5-year, $158 million max extension. The Heat and Bam Adebayo agreed on a 5-year max extension. Reports ESPN's Zach Lowe can be worth up to $195 million over 5 years. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Ravens have now had 5 players, 4 staffers test positive for COVID-19 this week. Thursday's game against the Steelers still on, but further positive tests could mean postponing it. This season's first college football playoff rankings will be released tonight. Expectation is that Alabama comes in at 1, followed by Notre Dame 2nd, Ohio State 3rd. After that, it might get a little tricky, explains Paul Feinbaum, host of the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I think Clemson will be number 4. There's a chance that Texas A&M could sneak in there based on schedule. But yeah, I don't think the top 4 or 5 are going to be very hard to figure out.
Paul Feinbaum with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. The release of the rankings, 7 Eastern, ESPN TV.
Coming up Wednesday, we're one day closer to Thanksgiving and an NFL triple header. We'll discuss the one game that could decide a division race. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Wednesday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Be there.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff. First class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
That no man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
My life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, no class, brought to you by Relief Telemed. Relief for businesses with frequent interactions with the public, like restaurants, retail stores, and service-based businesses that can't afford to shut down or send home employees. Relief's COVID mitigation platform takes all the hassle, chaos, and stress out of having your employees tested for COVID. The process starts with a video visit with a physician and ends with a custom action plan for every employee. And through a dashboard, you know exactly when your employees can come back to work. Relief Telemed offers both on-site and off-site testing options.
They are the best option, I can promise you, because I've had that experience. No missed days. That is so important, right? You want to get all the revenue that you possibly can have, and you want to do it in a safe manner. That's what Relief Telemed can do for your business, do for your team as well. They did it for me. They do it for LSU. They do it for LSU Alexandria. They do it for the Santa Ana School District in the state of California. They are trusted by so many because they are the best. Relief Telemed and ReliefTelemed.com.
All right, first class. You You feel like leading off? Or you want me to go first?
I'll lead off because
Okay.
I'm pretty passionate about this one. And my first class goes to the Fighting Reese Davises. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Joey Galloway made a comment on College Football Live about Northwestern and their chances to get into a playoff. And so we're going to play the video and the audio so both of our audiences can know exactly what we're talking about.
How would that impact the way you looked at Northwestern as it pertains to a shot at a playoff spot?
I've been watching Northwestern play, and honestly, I mean, they got a bunch of Reese Davises out there running around.
A bunch of Reese Davises running around.
Yeah, we are a bunch of Reese Davises.
I hope they don't cut that. Morning, Reese. Coach Reese. Oh my God, Reese Davis with the catch. My name is Riley Reese Davis.
Not bad for a bunch of Reese Davises.
All I see is a bunch of Reese Davis. Head coach Reese Davis. Woo!
That's Reese Davis 1, Reese Davis 2.
The problem is, too, what I hate is Reese Davis is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Nice catch, Reese. Way to go. Because I'm looking at a bunch of bad Reese Davis.
You have to love that.
That was good.
Joey Galloway. I see a bunch of Reese Davises out there basically saying that they look real unathletic out there. They're just a bunch of guys, no dudes on the field. Well, they beat a top 10 Wisconsin team that a lot of people, including myself, saw a path to get to the Big Ten championship game. That was a little bit easier than others in the Big Ten. Northwestern has none of it. They're undefeated. They deserve the respect. I love when you can use something like that as motivation. I know I've done it myself. When someone tells you you're this, when you know you're the other thing, it is one of the greatest motivational tools that you can have. I love that Fitzgerald bought into it as well. He even said, God, the thing I hate about this is Reese Davis is a really great guy, which he is.
You just know that anybody that didn't see that video or hear that audio thinks that Reese Davis is the culprit here.
He's not.
That he said something, and he wasn't doing anything other than hosting the show. It was Galloway that made the comment. So, listen, I'm impressed with what Northwestern has done. How can you not be? And I've always thought of Pat Fitzgerald as a real honest coach, and maybe that's insulting too. That I just say, hey man, they're a real honest, hard-working team. That's code for non-athletic. Okay, maybe I should start giving them more credit myself.
Oh, jack of all trades, master of none, grinder, weight room guy, does all the right things. Trust me, if anybody knows those, I know those. And so it's after a while, it's like, why can't I just be a good football player? Why can't I just be someone?
Oh, you got to qualify, right?
Why do you got to throw me in this category because of what you think we are? Because we play a different brand of football. Why? Why does it have to be that? Why can't we just be a Northwestern team that's a good football team that's only going to get better and has a chance to be a special season? I love their head coach. I love their mentality. By the way, they've got fantastic facilities. If you hadn't told by that video,
it's resort-like.
It really is. So good on them. Good on them for taking it and making it a motivational tool.
You know what they've got this weekend is an unusual situation for them where they are a big road favorite. They're not the scrappy underdog right now. They are I want to say a 13.5-point favorite at Michigan State. So now they've got to adjust their thinking a little bit. They're not being disrespected after that performance last week. That's for sure. Now they are expected to do that. My first class goes to Louisiana quarterbacks. Hey, at this time last week, was there a significant amount of skepticism about TJ Finley and Taysom Hill? Finley was coming off of a game, granted 3 weeks ago, where he turned the ball over 3 times and been benched. He was going back out on the road and had been able to take advantage, we were hoping, of 3 weeks of almost exclusive practice time, focus time in meetings and things like that. But we didn't know. Taysom Hill got even more skepticism because we thought it would be Jameis Winston that would be the quarterback there. And when Sean Payton announced, or he never actually announced, but when we found out that he was going with Taysom Hill, there was a lot of, hey, the numbers don't really fit here, but maybe Sean Payton, one of the great offensive minds of all time, knows what he's doing. And sure enough, both teams came out with a victory. Neither team turned the ball over. Both quarterbacks made big plays. Taysom Hill with 2 touchdowns on the ground and a 78% completion percentage, yep. Drew Brees-esque. TJ Finley, I've given out the stat a number of times because I think it's important. 8 out of 11 on third down, 6 first downs in that. Did not panic. Game-winning touchdown drive. I would say that the two gentlemen that were starting at quarterback for the Saints and LSU last week had a lot of question marks going into the game, and a lot of answers were good ones this weekend. So TJ Finley, Taysom Hill, first class.
All right, so normally in second class, we good with a chance to be great, but I'm going to use my second class since I used my first one on the Fighting Reese Davises to kind of take a shot at Hanny here. Hanny's a stats guy, right? He likes to throw a lot of stats out there. We had a conversation last week about Justin Jefferson. I said he has been dominant. You said, well, wait a minute. He's 97th or something. I don't know what you said in receiving yards, okay? But the stats are starting to really tell the story. Justin Jefferson is averaging 3.16 yards per route run. That's the best in the NFL. So every route that he's run, if you break it down, he's getting 3.16 yards, which is the best in the NFL. Would you say that the guy with the highest grade versus man coverage would be dominant? Is that a dominating thing? It's man on man. It's one-on-one. It's you versus me. Would that be dominant if you were the best in the NFL?
It's a really good performance. And
that's not just last week. That's the entire season.
Right.
Justin Jefferson, highest rated grade versus man coverage in the NFL. And I started to see something last game. I got a chance to really sit down and watch the entire game. They're starting to shade coverages his way. They're really starting to not only pay attention to him, but to respect him so much that they're leaving Adam Thielen, who's got 1 million touchdowns, it seems like, on the year, one-on-one coverage, and he's really starting to get some double teams. I've been so impressed with what he's been able to do. He has really just transitioned so nicely, and you hear the broadcast crew say, we met with the coaches. They talk about how good he is in the film room as well. He understands coverages, where he needs to be. I think this is just really the start of something. Of course, I'm giving Hanny a hard time, but I really just wanted to respect the job that he's done. When you're a rookie and you're the highest graded guy against man coverage, that's impressive.
I was listening last night to Game Time with Jimmy and those guys. With the Burrow injury, Burrow and Herbert were going to come down the last 6 weeks for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And it could have gone either way. With Burrow out, Herbert is the clear favorite, but the one guy that's got a chance to catch him is Jefferson. If Jefferson had a monster last month of the season, he could potentially catch him. There was a little bit of support for Tua there for a moment, but that has subsided. He got benched last week. I guess he's going back in. But though the award now with Burrow out is Herbert's to lose, but Jefferson's the one guy that's got a chance to get there. So we'll see. I like that one. My second class goes to the New Orleans Pelicans extension on Steven Adams.
I agree.
Steven Adams, this deal got done after the show on Friday, so we haven't really had a chance to talk about it a whole lot. I love that guy as a player. Loved him when he was at Oklahoma State. He is as tough as it gets. He's a skilled guy. He's not a great shooter, but everything else about his game is above average. He's a well above average rebounder. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. He's athletic. He's a shot blocker. Yeah, I wish he was a better shooter, but as a starting center, Steven Adams does everything that you need if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, and they get him at a reasonable price. There's a lot of teams that are going to be able to free up some cap money in 2 years, and his price might be inflated. So you're getting him now for the last 2 years of the deal at $17 million and change instead of the $27 million that you got him for this year. He's 27 years old. He's entering his prime, and by all accounts, he's a fantastic locker room guy. I like the idea of tying him up through what is the end of Zion Williamson's rookie contract. You want to give Zion some protection. You want to give him a running mate in the paint. If nothing else, the Pels should be able to clean the offensive glass pretty well. So I like this extension. It's a big commitment for New Orleans, but I think on and off the floor they get the player they want. Yes, I understand he's not a great shooter, but I'm going to live with that. It's not like, I can go out and sign somebody else that's better. There's nobody that I can see that they could acquire. So this trade makes a lot of sense for New Orleans. I love Steven Adams as a player. So it's good. The one thing I don't know about is fit. He's never played with these guys before. I'm sort of taking this on faith that David Griffin and Stan Van Gundy believe very much that this will be a mesh. I don't know that yet. That's why for me right now it's only second class, but I like where it's going. Steven Adams' contract. Good, with a chance to be great.
No, I do like that one. I realize that everybody in the NBA now wants their five to be able to run the court and shoot threes and be able to shoot the basketball. Okay, well, I don't think you have to have that to be a winning team in the NBA. He was 19th in the NBA in rebounds last year. By the way, good luck going down low against the Pelicans with Zion and Adams there. I mean, even if you score, you're going to feel it.
That's
strong. Going to be a
There's
very physical front court
Mm-hmm.
there. You're not, brought in to be a shooter. You've got B.I., you've got J.J. Redick, you've got guys that can shoot the basketball. That's not what you're going to be there for. And, yes, it does seem like a really good fit in the locker room. Drew Holiday was so important to this locker room, so you replace a veteran who is respected with another who is very well respected as well. Love the move. I think it's going to be a good one for the Pelicans.
Let me back up because I think this is a good point. Jacob brings this up in the chat. He says Adams has one of the best field goal percentages of all time. I think he is actually tops. But what I should have said was, as an outside shooter and as a free throw shooter, I wish he were better. So yeah, that's true. A lot of his points these are offensive rebounds. These are putbacks. He's as good as anybody in the league at doing that.
And what a guy to develop Jackson Hayes, right? A guy who's been in the league for 8 years that kind of knows the ins and outs, and that'll be another good development piece. And Jackson Hayes can kind of come off the bench and be that spark plug that I think he was meant to be when he was drafted. So I like that one. All right. My no class had many candidates.
You've been
this
mad
week,
all
but
weekend.
I don't want to be completely negative here. So I'll stick to the one that Hanny probably knows I'm going to go to, and that is the by God referee that threw the flag on the Purdue tight end to have offensive pass interference.
Oof.
Did your boy have some coin on the game that cost him? Yeah, I'll be straight up. I did, okay? So I'm mad about that. But it's more than that, okay? You made the game about yourself and not the play on the field. That was a hell of a game between Purdue and Minnesota. They were going back and forth. A nice little Friday night extra game in college football. And you look like you were so ready to throw that flag before the play even took place. You had your hand on your hip like you were a cowboy in a Western that was trying to have the OK Corral 6-shooter ready to go, okay? What are you doing? That is the softest offensive pass interference that I've ever seen. In fact, if you want to call him for hand checking and he extended his arm, the DB grabbed his arm after it was extended. So if you want to call it, it's got to be offsetting or something. That was a game winner on the road for Purdue, and you took it away from them on one of the worst predetermined looking calls that I've seen in a long time. Jeff Brom, good on you for getting your money's worth on the sideline. Now you're taking the high road because you don't want to get fined after the fact, but he got his money's worth, and he should have. In fact, there's some outlets out there that have refunded bets because that was such a bad call. I hate when the referees make it all about them. Now, there's some calls that are 50-50. We could sit here, we could debate. I have not seen one person, not one soul that has said that was the right call.
Because it wasn't.
There's nothing you could even point to say, well, here's what I think I saw. You did a bad job.
After Rams and Saints, I had to retire the worst call ever label because I can't ever say anything would be worse than that. The Super Bowl was on the line, and I'll take that one to the grave, okay? Yep. But this is at least in the conversation if you're talking about just a call. I mean, I know this is a Friday night game in the Big Ten versus the NFC Championship game, so I get that the stage is not as big, but whew, that was bad.
I'm here so I won't get fined.
Yep, pretty much it. I thought Brown was going to go after the guy, and I would have applauded.
Oh, he got himself some ear chewing in. He let him have it.
Yeah, well, he should have.
Oh my,
he absolutely should have.
Come on, Gordy, you're a Purdue guy. Where you at? What happened there?
If there's one thing that sports fans don't care about, it's other people's fantasy football teams. I know this, okay? Start talking about your fantasy football team, and people will go to sleep. So I understand that. I just want to say that everything that could go wrong with my fantasy football team this year has. Michael Thomas, George Kittle, you name it, and it's gone. Trade for Miles Sanders, he goes on the, whatever. But I did one thing right. I did I didn't even do it on purpose. I did one thing right about 3 weeks ago when Kittle went down. I picked up Taysom Hill as a tight end. Why? Because there were no tight ends left out there, and I figured I might get a garbage touchdown here or there out of him, rushing, receiving, something, okay? And this past weekend, it came to fruition. I'd love to tell you I had the foresight to put Taysom Hill at tight end because he was going to play quarterback, but that would just be a flat-out lie, and everybody would know it. What does he do? He scores more points than any tight end in the league, and although Kelsey almost caught him. And then he scores more points than all, I think, but 3 quarterbacks in the league. Finally, I made a move that pays off. And what does ESPN do today? They big fat took away his tight end eligibility. Man, I can't win for losing.
Why would you do that? You're exactly right.
He's played tight end enough to qualify there. Just because he's playing quarterback now, it doesn't take away all of those other plays.
I used a strategy to take him as a guy who was going to be used all over the place. Outsmarted you, but then you take him away. Bad on you. Bad on you, fantasy football guys.
Did he all of a sudden do all of those plays that he played at tight end not count? I mean, he's eligible. Rotten deal. Thanks to the folks at Relief Telemed. They sponsor First Class, Second Class, and No Class. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
So those of you watching with us on YouTube or CST today, I was like, hey, Hanny, what's up with the blazer, man? It looks kind of sharp. That's because we went over to Haspel on Perkins Road, 11358 Perkins Road on Friday. Haspel created the first seersucker suits in New Orleans in 1909, a true Louisiana original, and right now they've got a limited time holiday sale. The Haspel seersucker is rarely on sale. It's a great time to get ahead of spring and catch a great deal. And look, it's a lot more than just blue and white stripes. They've got a variety of darker, solid seersuckers and great sports coats and pants, perfect for the fall and winter weather, like this one right here that I got at a fantastic price.
You're exactly right. The Baton Rouge pop-up sale is going on right now over at the corner of Perkins and Oakdale. Take full advantage of this because they've got something for every occasion. I got a seersucker tuxedo. I didn't even know that was available. I am going to be in style and comfortable when I'm wearing that seersucker tuxedo. Go check it out, haspel.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. We're live from Doe's Eat Place to break down all the latest action. Come see us on Government Street at 6 p.m. and enjoy some delicious steak, or tune in here to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Might be a better topic that Cade brought up during the break. We're going to hear from Sean Payton here in about 5 or 6 minutes, but he asked us something I haven't spent very much time thinking about, which is LSU in a bowl game and where that could possibly be.
Yeah, just because the season has gone like it has.
I wasn't even sure that there were going to be bowl games, some of them for sure.
I mean, you look with the sponsors that they have, being a part of a bowl game in the Independence Bowl like I was for a couple of years, I just know how important it is to have these games, and it's very, very, very difficult to not have them for the bottom line. So, all the bowl record stuff has kind of gone out the window this year. So we started to talk about where could LSU potentially end up in a bowl game, and the latest projections, according to ESPN.com, they have them one in the Texas Bowl, which is a December the 31st game against, guess who? A game that
Texas Tech.
Pretty upset that we didn't get.
Again, Texas?
Texas. So LSU, Texas in the Texas Bowl.
New Year's Eve, really?
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
We got a pretty big party plan for that night.
I think everybody does.
Just to get rid of 2020.
January 2nd, the Outback Bowl is the other prediction, and that is Indiana versus LSU.
It's a Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sure. You sit on a board for a bowl, the Independence Bowl. What I've been told about every bowl game ever is that the bottom line, there's TV, there's sponsor money and all that stuff, but you better sell some tickets. So my question about the viability of bowls in a COVID year is, if you can't sell tickets, can you really make it go?
Tickets is an important factor, but the sponsorship
That's
and
more.
what you can get there is more. Yeah,
Okay.
It's the TV side of it. Do you want to sell tickets? Yeah, absolutely you want to. You want to have a local feel to the game and all the events that surround it, but the other side of it's more important.
Ordinarily, I know what people are thinking out there. It's like, man, look, I'm done with this season. They're going to finish with 3, 4, 5 wins, whatever it ends up being, and not really interested in a bowl. But oh wait, they go to practice and they need practice. There's really not that much. You're going to finish the season on the 19th. And I would assume that they're going to give them a few days off for Christmas, which is, the following week. We're anticipating this because we're going to take it off too. The next week is really all you're going to add pretty much is one game week.
Right.
And they've practiced quite a bit. We're talking about practice. Yeah. I mean, they've been practicing since July.
You know what coaches are never going to turn down?
More practice time.
Especially when they missed spring practice.
Ain't ever lost a practice. No, but seriously.
But a normal bowl game, I understand completely what you're saying. You love it because you get basically another spring.
Mm-hmm.
You get like another kind of mixture of a spring camp. Let's find out what the young guys have learned throughout this football season type of deal.
You have a puppy bowl where all the freshmen and stuff play.
And you can find out a lot about your guys that are going to be guys you count on the next year, but with only a week, it's not going to be that. It's just going to be preparing for a game.
And if you go, so the bowl experience is you go to a city, they have all of these events for you.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you have the barbecue eating contest. You go bowling. You have a theme park or something. Can't do any of that. I mean, come in about 5 minutes, there's going to be a press conference, and we're going to find out that, there's going to be a whole lot of other things we're probably not going to be able to do. But the whole bowl experience is going to be, I don't want to say completely shut down, but pretty close. You're all of those things that we're talking about involve either the two teams getting together, which you can't do,
right,
or the team getting together with some faction of the community there, which you can't do.
Well, Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Senior Bowl, said the same thing. Like, we have all these events that surround our game that we're not going to be able to do.
No. So what you end up with is a game week. And most of those, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, the practices once you get to the bowl site are pretty light, unless you're less in Nashville that one year. But most of them are glorified walkthroughs. They're pretty light, right?
Yeah, even for the national championship game, it was, we had shoulder pads but no pants on. Everybody's nervous that somebody's watching you practice because it's not what you can control normally. And you'll go to another location, and it's basically, all right, we'll go through a walkthrough, we'll see what we can do, but we're not going to run anything that we're really going to run in the game.
I could see it be a deal where it's a normal game week, except you're playing Texas in what'd you say, in Houston, the Texas Bowl. So you're going to practice at your facility the whole week to control the spread. Not going to have any other. You'll still get your ditty bag, I guess, but other than that, fly in the day before the game. Go to the hotel, stay at the hotel, don't leave the hotel, get up the next day, get on the bus, go to the game, take a shower, get on the bus, get on the plane, go home.
Yep.
Check.
But you do get a check at the end of the day for playing
TV.
The
yeah, they still got to put stuff on TV. We have from Sean Payton about Taysom Hill when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more.
Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
On a very thankful Wednesday, OTB Executive Chef Michael Johnson gets you ready for Thanksgiving. Clown Booger for saying the Bucs are better than the Saints. And break down LSU A&M. Off the bench. 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Now we welcome you back in to Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. This was Sean Payton. Payton could be taking a victory lap this week with the Taysom Hill. A lot of people called him out for making that decision. We questioned it, but it was like, hey, okay, let's see if Sean really knows what he's doing. And he was adamant that Taysom Hill was a quarterback. It was going to be his starting quarterback last week.
Yeah, listen, he wanted to play. And make no mistake, when we claimed him off the film, it was as a quarterback. Our vision was not as those other things. Those are end results after he was here, but our vision watching the film, and I've told it a number of times, started watching a practice squad receiver, and then pretty soon started watching more of the tape, and then here it was, that evening, the next day, we were putting a claim in for him. So he enjoys playing, and you can't help but notice that when you watch his snaps in a game. Yeah. Look, we're not making any big announcements. That's not us, and so, we thought he played well. We thought, man, there were a lot of things we did well in that game. Defensively, obviously, we won the field position battle. We won a number of situational battles. Thought we ran the ball well, especially in the second half, and, I think it was a good team win. It was a real good team win against, I think, a good football team. I know the record doesn't say that, but when you look at the games they've played this year and the games they've been in, that was a team that we've got a lot of respect for. And so, but outside of that, we'll take each week with the approach what's best for our team.
So he did stop short of saying Hill is a quarterback until Brees comes back, but there's no real advantage to him saying that either. So there's, like I said, he could have taken a victory lap yesterday. Yeah. He really didn't do that.
I think a lot of people, because of how long it took Taysom to kind of find his foot in the NFL and his injuries in college, just forget how dominant of a player he was at BYU.
When he was healthy, yes.
When he was healthy, he was a guy that beat Texas back-to-back years really on his own. I mean, he took the game over. Texas couldn't do anything to stop him, and he was dominant. He really, really was. And he had an NFL future at that moment. Now, I don't know how, his draft stock was. I think it was probably somewhere in the middle rounds. But, he had the injury history, so he falls.
And he was older.
And he was, because he had been on his Mormon mission, okay? So there's a lot of factors that kind of play into him ending up in Green Bay. But I agree with Sean. Once you turn on the tape, okay, there's something there. There's something there. Let's see what we can do with him. And it was off his quarterback tape and not just the gadget stuff. He didn't have that only in mind. And so, Sean Payton does a really nice job of identifying talent. And, they got something in Taysom Hill that is a true weapon. And it's only going to to grow from here on, because now he started a game, now he's been the starter, and he's won a game.
And again, it was for this week. It'll be for next week, maybe the week after that, maybe forever. Maybe it comes to an end in 2 weeks. Who knows? He's trying to win games and be the number 1 seed right now. Here's another set of eyes on it. This was Drew Brees about what Sean Payton saw in Taysom Hill.
Listen, the thing that caught Coach Payton's eye initially with Taysom Hill, I don't know if he's ever told the story, but he was watching Green Bay film, not looking at Taysom Hill. He was looking at a receiver. Right. And this is right at the end of the 2017 training camp, right? And it just happened to be that Taysom Hill was the guy throwing this receiver all these balls in the preseason. And it was like every time something would break down, this guy would take off and run and make a really bad play, turn it into something really good. And so, I think Sean immediately saw, kind of his talent and his knack for just making good things happen and making good decisions. And obviously he's been in so many different roles on our team here over the last 3-4 years, but all the while continuing to prep and prepare for the opportunity to at some point start at quarterback.
I know he doesn't want to do that after his career is over, but Brees probably be a pretty good coach if he ever decided that was what he wanted to do.
You're exactly right. Now
he's going to the booth. He's already signed that deal.
I was about to say, I don't know if the booth's going to let him go too much, but who better to learn from the last couple of years than Drew? And so I think their relationship has been really good, a really good working relationship, and him being there for as long as he has been, I think that went into the decision to start him because of how well he knows the offense, because of how well he knows the terminology. And so that's something that I think has been in favor of Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston through this process.
You get to see another game. I'm not ready to say, yes, absolutely, that Taysom Hill is a starting quarterback the day Drew Brees steps down from the podium when he announces his retirement forevermore. But I liked what I saw last week. I want to see him against Denver. We'll see him get the rematch with Atlanta in 2 weeks. I've certainly seen enough there that makes me want to see even more. So that was Sean Payton and Drew Brees on Taysom Hill. Ask Us is next in the Bayou Ford chat. We'll do that when we come back. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Garcia Roofing every single day. Been doing it in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Covington, and the entire North Shore since 1992. Number 19 on LSU Top 100 fastest growing Tiger businesses. Also, Hanny, you know who got voted best in Ascension Roofing Company? Garcia Roofing. And look, they're going to stand behind all of their work with that Garcia guarantee we tell you about every single day. Please take full advantage of those free roof inspections. They can find something that the other company is going to miss and save you thousands.
Every project is done on time, on budget, and with the best quality work. So whether it's roof repair, roof replacement, roof cleaning, commercial roofing, it's your trusted home improvement experts at Garcia Roofing in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, and on the North Shore. Roof now and pay later. Call 756-3100. That's 756-3100. Online, it's GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. We're live from Doe's Eat Place to break down all the latest action. Come see us on Government Street at 6 p.m. and enjoy some delicious steak, or tune in here to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask us in the Bayou Ford chat. All right, let's start with Jake. What's the process that goes into selecting 18 every season?
Well, it's changed a little bit. Used to, it was more of a kind of a vote, and you kind of come up with, a couple of different guys that, would get votes, but it'd mainly be about 3 guys. It's changed a little bit. Coach O and them do a fantastic job of taking input, but they're around the team every single day, so they kind of see organically who the leaders are, and so they listen to us. But at the end of the day, they make that decision as a coaching staff, which is, probably a better way because they get a chance to see those guys every day.
Ask Hester, Evangel, the 14-seed. Are you going to give them a pep talk? They got to play you high, right?
No, my children go to University Laboratory School, and so I'll be going for the Cubs this week.
I think they're significant favorites.
Yeah, they should be. They'll beat Evangel by 50 if they want to.
Ask us, National Sardine Day.
No.
Thumbs up to thumbs down. I'm not a sardine guy.
I love the hide and seek game sardines, but that's about it.
Ask us, how do you like your Thanksgiving turkey cooked?
To be replaced by a ham. I like turkey, but I prefer ham.
The fried turkeys are great, but the rotisserie turkeys are really, really good, and they make exceptional turkey sandwiches for leftovers. So I just got tuned into that a few years ago. The rotisserie turkey is really, really good. Ask us, oyster dressing or not. We've answered that one before. We're both fans of oyster dressing. Ask us, in honor of Reverend Hanny. I'm not a reverend. I've just got a jacket on today. Your minister calls and asks you to preach a sermon. Can you do it?
Yeah, I could do it.
I could do it.
I don't mind getting up in front of crowds. I grew up in the church, grew up going to a Christian school. Yeah, I could definitely get up there and do it. I've spoken in front of church crowds before.
Yeah, speaking in front of crowds is not one of my phobias. It is for a lot of people, not one of my problems. Ask us, favorite Thanksgiving dish. I think the cornbread dressing has always been.
I'm really, really hoping for some carrot souffle this Thanksgiving.
You have to ask.
Please,
okay?
Please, Katie.
Ask us Thanksgiving item that is overrated. Oh, I got this one. It's cranberry sauce, right?
Ugh.
My grandmother insisted for years and years on putting cranberry sauce on the table, and like two people in the whole family. Because it was tradition, and that's how she grew up, and it was just, that was what you had to have it on the table. It's like two people eat. So for me, it's cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Ask us how much of Jimbo Fisher's current offense is still recognizable to you?
A lot.
Yeah?
A lot of it. Just because you line up in shotgun or you line up in a different formation, it's still the same personnel. You're still finding a way to get to it, right? If you're in gun and you've got an H-back and you're still running ISO, ISO's ISO. You're just not doing it out of the eye. You're just doing it out of gun, a split gun kind of look. And so it still looks very recognizable to me.
Ask us, favorite thing that Aggie fans say. I got nothing.
I'm not a big fan of their traditions. I think they're kind of quirky.
I will say the one thing about A&M is the band does put on a very good show usually, and I'm not big on
So the band was solid.
The band was solid. That band is usually very solid.
The 12th man stuff. I mean, it works for them. That's kind of the guy wearing the 12 jersey and he's a walk on. I mean, I can get behind that.
Ask us, pressing question that we want to know, Walgreens or Rite Aid? Okay, so here's my deal is, does it matter? Because wherever there's one, there's the other. Just cross the street.
It matters.
Oh, it does?
Oh, it matters.
Okay.
You're either like Team CVS or Team Walgreens, Hanny.
Everywhere there's one, there's another, okay? If you don't like one, just cross the street. You can go to the other one. It's whichever way I'm going in traffic usually, probably.
I miss the K&B.
Oh, KB was so good. Yeah, you're right.
Because they had generic beer. Did you ever drink a generic beer from K&B?
I wasn't old enough to drink when K&B was still a thing.
Okay, so
they had the generic ice cream they made too. When you'd go to when you were sick, that's what I remember. I'd go get medicine, and they had the little thing with the paper. So it felt like it was a paper container of ice cream.
If you've ever been a college student and not a whole lot of money, and you go to K&B, beer.
We call those old Milwaukee's.
This wasn't even that beer, okay? It certainly wasn't anything as good as our friends over at Coors Light. No, it was just generic beer. Let's see. Ask us, how do you feel about Coach O's horrible end of the drive play call? I'm assuming he's talking about the end of the first half. They lost it down, basically, by not calling timeout soon enough. They mismanaged the clock a little bit there. They could have fit in another play with the amount of timeouts they had, and then they ran the draw.
Took the timeout about 7 seconds after some clock had run.
Wasn't the purest thing. Ask us, does the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you hear phase 2? All right, we heard about the press conference. In my best Marshawn Lynch impersonation, I don't want to say anything so I don't get fined. How's that?
Okay,
Can I pretty much leave it at that? Yeah. Ask Hester, do you think you could steal Jimbo's signals?
He was never a big signal. He wasn't a big signal guy, but I'll give it a shot. I'll give it the old college try. I'll try to. Jimbo's got real lengthy terminology, so a lot of times we'll go to a wristband because his terminology is so lengthy, and it's a little bit more difficult to steal signals there when they're not signaling in necessarily the play.
Okay. Ask us, do you think we get a new defensive coordinator after this year? We've been through this a few times. There's financial obligations here. There's
$4 million.
I think it's closer to 5.
Yeah.
It's not a normal year, so it's been bad. Not gonna dispute that. All right, spin the wheel.
What movie can you watch over and over again with never getting tired of it?
Shawshank.
Tombstone.
That's good. That's good. That's really good.
I'm going to stop. If it's on TV, and it can be HBO version or it can be like TNT version, I'm still going to stop and watch it because Val Kilmer in that movie is one of the greatest TV characters of all time, movie characters, I should say, and I still don't know how he wasn't nominated for every award.
No, he was great. And if you ever saw the Wyatt Earp movie that Costner did, it wasn't a bad movie, except Tombstone was just so much better. Dennis Quaid did a nice Doc Holliday. But compared to Val Kilmer, it was just not even
close.
If there was no Tombstone, you'd be like, man, that was pretty good. Tombstone was so much better.
What about a comedy? Like not a drama, not like an
Caddyshack.
action. I was going to go, you know what I always stop on is Back to the Future.
Yeah,
I love
Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite. But Caddyshack.
Caddyshack's good.
If Caddyshack's on, I'm probably going to watch just a little bit of it. Oh, the other one is Goodfellas. I'm probably going to watch it. Goodfellas and Shawshank are on a lot. If you just you scrolling random channels, they're on a lot. It's good for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
All right. What actor or actress plays the same character in every movie or TV show they do?
What actor or actress plays the same role?
I was going to say Steve Carell, but I just watched The Morning Show, and he was completely different in that. David Schwimmer from Friends.
What else has he been in? He was in like Band of Brothers, I think.
He's always that guy. He's always, and even when he's trying to be a serious actor, I'm like, no, this ain't you. You can't do that.
What guy's this saying? Adam Sandler?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
But a lot of them are funny. I can't say all of them are funny.
Well, the 90s.
The early stuff was good. Okay.
Liam Neeson.
Oh, there you go, Paul. I'll watch every single one of them. It's okay. It's not a bad thing.
Never kidnap anybody that belonged to him.
No, don't do that.
Forget about it.
That's
nice shot, Paul. That's good.
It was.
That's good.
Who do you go out of your way to be nice to?
My mother and my wife.
You better say.
I mean, come on. The two most important.
What about somebody that's not related to you?
I would say Gordy, but I can't even do that with a straight face. I tried. I try to be nice to everybody. I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, but I like to think I get along with people. What about you?
I was always taught anybody that's your elder, you got to respect them. You got to treat them in the right way. It's just kind of the way I was raised. So I remember the first time I was in California, I learned a lesson that it's a little bit different than the South. I'm talking about like day 2 of me being in California. We're at an Albertsons, and I'm holding the door open for an elderly lady, and she walks by, and she says thank you. I say, oh, yes, ma'am, no problem. And she scalded me for calling her ma'am.
Really?
Scalded me. Like, you think because I'm an older, and you're going to call me ma'am?
Wow.
I mean, I said, ma'am, you might have, be upset with that. I said, but if there's a chance that my father some way, somehow found out I did not say ma'am to you, I am much more terrified of what he would do to me opposed to you scalding me. So scald away.
There's like a grocery store cam somewhere that's going to be sent back to Shreveport. Thanks to everybody for participating today. For Cade Wazan, for Paul O'Neill, for Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A path only fit for kings, and you don't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gonna have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up.
Hangin' with Hester.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention